testosterone test, free exam, and free consultation. Call Revive Men's Health at 916-277-8599. That's 916-277-8599. Or visit revivemenshealth.com.
KHTKAM Sacramento, KYMX HD2 Sacramento.
Take it on the local level.
Live and local, 6 a.m. to 6 p.m., Monday through Friday.
From the Power Business Technology Toshiba Studios. Sactown Sports. It's time. It is that time. Time for Stiles and Watkins.
You can join the show by texting 916-339-1140. Find us on YouTube at Sactown Sports 1140.
It's time for Alan Stiles and Chris Watkins.
Yes. On a Wednesday. Stiles and Watkins, Sactown Sports. This is the second time in a row where if you are a Kings fan, you really just don't want to Google Kings because it just burns all over again. It happened against the Bucks. Okay, when do they play next? I really don't want to Google it because I have to see that score and I got to see Damian Lillard's face. Then it happens today when you got to see when they play next and you're forced to look at 119 to 117. It felt like the Kings had everything rolling. The only person that could make a shot on the Suns was Grayson Allen, okay? And if you told people, Kevin Durant finishes with 27, Devin Booker, 11 assists, but 16 points, Bradley Beal, 13 points. They did their job for the most part, but they didn't do it at the right time. And Grayson Allen, what did he have? 8 threes, 9 threes, something like that? You still could have survived if you just took care of the basketball, Chris. And today, this show, there's somebody that we have kind of let slide because he's played well. But everybody else on the team, including the coach, we have questioned in some way, except for one guy this season. That ends today, Chris Watkins. How are you doing?
Pretty good. Of course, yesterday is disappointing and felt like another opportunity for – we talked about it after the Bucks game, but that was definitely a win of – I don't know about win of the year, but it was just a really quality win that the Kings had in hand that they let turn into a loss. And it's really disappointing that between these last two games, between the Bucks and the Suns, there's been real moments to feel good about with this team. And at the same time, it feels like you can't really talk about those moments and you can't really – even enjoy those moments to look back on because it was soured by the result. And at the end of the day, I mean, you said it at the end of the Bucks game, at the end of the day, this is 3 straight losses. And it feels like this is now back-to-back games of these guys not closing out a game in winning time. And that's really concerning for a team that's gonna try and have aspirations of playing against this caliber of opponent in the playoffs regularly. So if you can't finish, it's definitely going to lead to a lot of headaches. And again, it to me points at the fact that, Mike Brown he had a different final 5 or closing 5 than he did in Milwaukee. Again, I think that's yet another sign of Mike Brown, maybe not even intentionally, but signaling to Monty McNair, I don't have 5 guys right now that I absolutely know that I'm going down with.
Is it too late? Is it too late to think that this team can make any noise in the playoffs if there's no move made?
It would be tough to imagine at this point. I mean, we have, I think, what are we now, 40 games in? So pretty much half the season through. I feel like we have a pretty good gauge on how good this team can be. And even if you say, like I have, that, okay, well, let's say Kevin Huerter returns to form. Okay, is that turning the Kings into a guaranteed second-round appearance? It makes it a lot more likely. I don't know if I would expect it. It's something that, you give them the right matchup, sure, but, it's not a team that, unless things fall the right direction, it's not a team I would say or bet is going to be a Western Conference Finals appearance. Mm-hmm. And don't even get me started on NBA Finals. But, no, I mean, I can't see them having ultimate playoff success if they don't make a move. So I know we're not doing it right now, but if we're beaming or dreaming, I'm definitely still dreaming right now.
Well, I'm dreaming as well. We got our guy Nate Littlefield behind the glass. So thank you to Nate for all he's about to do, because we got a lot going on today. We have our Kings Roundtable, and what a day to have our Kings Roundtable. That's at 11:30. You won't want to miss that as we break down the collapse of the Kings last night and some of the X's and O's stuff here. You know, the small ball. We have sound from Coach Mike Brown, the small ball situation, just turning the ball over. You just felt the avalanche. And I think the thing that ticked me off the most is that if you watched Kevin Durant's body language, this man didn't even want to be there.
No,
the
not in the
Suns
first half.
have problems.
Mm-hmm.
The Suns have problems.
Real problems.
KD is getting mad because Eric Gordon isn't passing him the rock. They're turning the ball over.
Yeah.
They don't want to be there. Devin Booker, you know, the same thing happened. It's funny. With James Harden, what they're trying to do, the Suns, is essentially what they did with James Harden. James Harden kind of went back and forth from shooting guard to point guard, and James Harden was able to make that change, and he was able to do both. Now, James Harden didn't have two all-world scorers on his team,
right,
in Kevin Durant and Bradley Beal, so it was just the James Harden show, a la a Luka type situation. Sure. Devin Booker has no clue.
I would say James Harden's more of a point guard, too.
He is.
So it makes a lot more, like, he's a lot more of a, I wouldn't say a willing passer, but he has real, like, playmaking instincts.
Yeah,
I would
Devin
say.
Booker's, if he's driving, he's trying to get to the lane.
He's a bucket.
Yeah, he's trying to get to the lane. He's trying to shoot the basketball, and that's what he's going to try to do. We do prop talk, and by the way, we're going to start doing prop talk a lot more often, and we're going to do records, and we're going to see between Chris and I who has the better record. I would stay away from Devin Booker. I would stay away from all of the Suns. Yeah. Because you don't know what you're going to get every single day. Devin Booker had 11 assists last night. Yeah. Okay, so last night he was Chris Paul. Who knows what he's going to be the next night? They're trying to figure it out. The defense from the Kings was, hey, if Grayson Allen's going to beat us, they're going to beat us. Me and Brendan did our Twitter spaces last night, and I said, Brendan, if Grayson Allen stays hot, is it an insane statement to say, hey, get that ball out of his hands to either Devin Booker, Kevin Durant, or Bradley Beal? And the same thought was, I mean, you can't really do that. Yeah. And you did live. That was the problem. Defensively wasn't the issue. That whole small ball thing, that was once the snowball started getting bigger and bigger. Yeah. You never were supposed to even get there. Right. Y'all weren't even supposed to finish the game. I was getting ready to see Colby Jones. I was getting ready to see Davion Mitchell. Yep. I was getting ready to see the crew. Keon Ellis.
It was 22-point lead in the fourth quarter at one point?
And you find a way to trick off another game, and we have sound, we have stats, but ultimately you're not getting it done, and I can't take this team seriously as it pertains to a contender. They are one of the most unserious teams in the National Basketball Association when it comes to a team that has aspirations. I know the Pistons are unserious. Yep. They're trash. I know the Hornets are unserious. They're trash. The Blazers, they're trash. Two of those teams the Kings actually lost to. So there you go right there. But they are stuck in the mud. And I don't know if it's going to be a savior for Monty McNair, or I don't know, Chris, and this is what we're going to allude to again, and y'all know who I'm talking about. So I'm going to say it now. We are having the conversation, is De'Aaron Fox truly a franchise player? Can he be the 1A on a championship team? We haven't talked about De'Aaron Fox in a negative light essentially all season, but today is the day. Because questions have to be asked. We're just asking a question. If you say a list of guys, if we made a list right now of players that you know for a fact are 1A franchise guys, this guy can take it to a championship, is De'Aaron Fox on that list? I think this season, honestly, Chris, has turned into a huge proving season for De'Aaron Fox. And I'm willing to say maybe that's why Monty McNair hasn't made a move yet, because he's not sure either. I don't know. But we're going to try to figure it out. All right.
We'll talk about it.
Got to get to a break. When we get back, we have some stats as to how terrible last night's game was, historically bad. And I guess that's what they say. Hey, son, if you're going to go out there and be a bad student, be the worst student that ever walked into that school.
Is that what parents say? I don't know
I'm
if that's
just
what
saying,
parents say.
Be historically
Don't say that
bad.
to your daughter.
No, I'm not going to
Please
say that
don't
to my
tell
daughter.
your children
Gotta
that.
get to a break. When we get back, we got some stats, and we have more Kings talk. We're opening up the phone line. Stiles Watkins, Sactown Sports.
Domantas Sabonis plays here.
He finds Sabonis, put the frosting on the cake, put the cherry on the sundae. Sabonis with a two-hand flush makes it 114-106.
Sactown Sports is your proud home of the Sacramento Kings.
It's a mystery where Old Spice finds its amazing scents like Himalayan sea salt, but I'm thrilled they have because no other body wash exfoliates and moisturizes 24/7 like Old Spice Gentleman's Himalayan sea salt body wash. Now, if only there was a mountain range separating the Indian subcontinent from the Tibetan plateau where I could hide my Old Spice and keep my family from stealing it, my impossibly smooth skin will finally be safe.
Jackson Hewitt has a plan to get your tax refund fast with a buck here, buck there, here buck, there buck, everywhere buck.
You don't have to wait weeks for your tax refund. Get money sooner with a no-fee refund advance loan at Jackson Hewitt.
On this loan, there's a money today guarantee. E-I-E-I-DO.
Don't settle for chicken feed. Get fast bucks at Jackson Hewitt today. No-fee refund advance loans by Republic Bank offered to eligible clients. Money today guarantee if approved for a loan.
Zion did, but ultimately that's how Zion pronounced it is basically how I felt watching the game. Just lost.
Yeah, I didn't have time to figure out all the letters and stuff that go into that word, so I just lackadaisical. That was the vibe of yesterday.
This is from Tim Reynolds of AP Sports. The Suns were down 22 with 8 minutes left and beat the Kings. The biggest fourth quarter comeback in the NBA since the bubble.
I'm sorry?
Teams facing deficits of 22 or more in the fourth quarter were 0 in 1,244 games since August 23rd, 2020.
One more time?
They were 0 in 1,244. That's insane.
It's pretty crazy. I mean, it really, I mean, that shows how bad of a lead. I mean, it was bad when the Kings made that 20-point comeback against Golden State just in the second half. I think that was the first time Golden State had allowed a 20-point comeback, since the pre-Durant days or something like that. This is even worse than that. To have 22 points in 8 minutes and 10 seconds just completely fade away is nuts. And that's why, I mean, like you said earlier, like we're everybody can get questioned for that. I mean, I said yesterday that Mike Brown was almost perfectly timing his ejection in Milwaukee because, with 9 to around 8-10 left in the fourth quarter, you've done all the coaching you can do at that point. It's on the players. I think, definitely Mike Brown holds some accountability for that. But when you're up by 22 with 8 minutes to go, like you said, we're approaching Colby Jones time. We're approaching, getting JaVale out there, maybe getting, Jordan Ford some minutes
hold
at that
serve
point.
for 3 more minutes.
Come on.
Yeah.
And we're just saying hold serve, right? We're just saying 18 points, 15 makes us a little uncomfortable, but we're okay with that. To completely blow a 22-point lead like that, and I think Katie pointed it out on the broadcast, but the way it happened too, it happened about as quickly as it could have. The Kings played some of the worst basketball I think they've played all year long.
He couldn't get a shot up.
It was, let's see here, from the 7-minute mark on, you have a Sabonis turnover, you have a Fox missed floater, you then have the Keegan Murray 3 off of, again, maybe the greatest highlight I've seen from De'Aaron Fox this season was that offensive rebound he got over Grayson Allen, kicked it out to Keegan. That was like the last positive moment that the Kings had from that game. After that, you have a floater missed by De'Aaron. You have 1 of 2 free throws missed by Sabonis. You have a Malik Monk turnover. You have a Fox turnover. You have a Harrison Barnes offensive foul on that moving screen. You have a Malik Monk block from Grayson Allen. And then you have the De'Aaron Fox blocked 3 from Kevin Durant. And in that time, it goes from 112 to 94 to 113 to 109. And that's really your ball game at that point. I mean, at that point, the Suns had all the momentum in the world. Kevin Durant is doing exactly what Kevin Durant does. That's why he's so incredible. It's 7 feet tall. He can pull up over everybody. They ran a small ball lineup. So, that definitely threw the Kings out of whack majorly. The Suns just beat them. They straight beat their behinds the entire 8-minute and 10 stretch of that fourth quarter.
But this is what I don't understand, okay? And we're going to hear from Coach Mike Brown in a second here, and I love the Sac chat. I love y'all shouting you out now. But this is from Nicktown, and I'm not saying Coach Mike Brown doesn't deserve everybody is responsible for this loss. Yeah. But you say Brown should call a timeout and reset. Come on. Well, you come on, Nicktown. I'm looking right here. Just look at it. 7-10, Kings, full timeout. At that point, it was 109 to 94. Then again, 4:39 left in the game. Kings, full timeout. I'm not going to count the last one because that was when the game was basically over. That's 2 timeouts during that stretch. What do you want them to do? Call a timeout every 1 minute? This isn't kindergarten. This isn't CYO. This isn't AAU. He called 2 timeouts during the stretch. That's why my smoke today is for, are we sure that 1-2 punch of De'Aaron and Sabonis, are we sure that's a championship 1-2 punch? We asked, is Malik a championship 2 guard? Yeah. We ask, is the rest of the team, are they championship right there? Is Kevin Huerter, I'm looking at his big head here on the, not his big head, the actual photo of him, it's blown up is what it is. Is Kevin Huerter a championship 2 guard? Right. We asked this question. We haven't asked the question, is De'Aaron Fox a championship 1 and is Sabonis a championship 2? I don't know. So I don't know. I understand why Mike Brown gets some responsibility, but I'm looking right here. He called 2 timeouts during the stretch. And then we'll call another one. For what? Clearly it's not working. Yeah. Clearly it's not working. Let's hear from Coach Mike Brown. This is the loss to getting lackadaisical piece, and then we'll play the learning a lesson. So here's the first one.
Or would you not point to that at all?
Yeah, I wouldn't point to that because we had the ball in the right people's hands at the right time down the stretch, and we just got real lackadaisical, and or we just couldn't finish, or we didn't stick with our principles. Like I said, when we touch the paint, if a second guy comes, hey, play off a 2 and kick it. And then, the tough part about it is, like I say, is we had to blitz, and we blitzed. And when you blitz, you're going to give up open shots, and they hit their open shots.
I mean, Mike Brown said it at the start there. It's a great point. The ball was in the – think about the list I just said in that stretch. Again, Sabonis turnover, De'Aaron Fox missed runner, Sabonis splitting 2 free throws, Malik Monk turnover, Harrison Barnes gets an offensive foul on a screen set for De'Aaron Fox, Malik Monk gets blocked at the rim from Grayson Allen, De'Aaron Fox gets blocked from Kevin Durant. Those are De'Aaron Fox, Malik Monk, and Domantas Sabonis making all of the moves down the stretch in that game. They just didn't go out there and execute. And frankly, I mean, if you're Malik and De'Aaron, again, this is now 2 games in a row. You could argue those 2 guys kind of blew the game single-handedly with the missed free throws against Milwaukee and then the stretch of the turnovers and the block shots. It was not a great performance, and it's been a rough stretch for those 2 specifically.
Let's hear from Coach again on how this can be a great learning lesson.
We got to give Frank Vogel and the entire Phoenix Suns team a lot of credit. The reality of it is they went small, and we couldn't score. We couldn't score inside. KD did a heck of a job. We took some bad shots. I thought we drove into traffic 2 or 3 times. And instead of playing the way we normally play, you drive the ball, you touch the paint. If help comes, play off a 2 and spray it. We tried to go for the foul and shoot over 2 or 3 guys at the rim. And then we took some tough threes, and they forced us into tough threes. We had no pace in the half court to end the game. We were holding the ball a lot. And so their ability to play KD at the 5 and still match up with us because we couldn't score really slowed us down. And we have to figure that out because that's happened to us in the past.
I'm just not quite sure what you can learn based on what you said, right? And we're seeing stuff on the text line and the sack chat. Well, they should have kind of bleeded clock more and not really been too aggressive. It is bizarre to me that I'm not saying to shoot threes, but all of a sudden with the 7-footer on you, now it's time. Now I want to get to the cup. It was just bizarre decision making. And ultimately, that's why we're coming down the roads of the main guys, because that's who had the ball. They just weren't prepared. They just weren't prepared. Now, if you want to blame Coach Mike Brown on not being prepared, maybe you can do that, but they just weren't ready. They were not ready, and when things got tight, they could not play accordingly. And these are 2 games here now, Chris, to where you talk about championships and you talk about having a deep run in the playoffs. You're not going to be blowing teams out in the playoffs. You have to know how to close games. And I think the Kings have a problem with closing games. They either win wire to wire or they lose wire to wire, right? That's not the whole season, but a lot of games are like that. Okay, they came up, they showed up to play today, or they didn't, right? And these last couple games, hey, these teams, I believe it was Coach Mike Brown. He said, we'll see. It's not the All-Star break yet. We'll see who's going to want to play after the All-Star break in February. This is where teams are going to be fighting for those spots, fighting for those W's. There's not going to be that many blowouts. You got to close games.
No, I mean, I think the big thing for why the Kings, if you feel like they are struggling during blowouts or during close games, it's probably because De'Aaron Fox hasn't been the clutch player of the year like he was last year. I mean, they relied so heavily on him in the fourth quarter last year, just in general, but especially obviously in those clutch situations where the game was close and the time was winding down. He has not been good. I just saw some people tweet out some of his clutch numbers, and I'll pull them up during the break, but he has not been nearly as efficient or just as productive in the clutch as he was last year. And if that was a big formula for how you were getting those results last year and you're just straight up not getting that production out of De'Aaron this year, I mean, you could see how it would lead to them playing worse. And I definitely have felt it. It felt like, maybe with De'Aaron winning that clutch player award, maybe more people give him attention. He's a little bit more front of mind in those moments, but it at the same time feels like he just hasn't been the same guy. He hasn't been as aggressive. He hasn't been looking to get to that free throw line extended jumper like he did so many times last year. And, I think there's a lot of reasons for that, but I think a big part of it is, with his shot diet kind of changing a bit and taking more threes, I think it's kind of thrown off where he feels like are his spots nowadays. And, it's something that they're going to have to adjust to, because you're going to, I said it last year too, but you're going to need more than just De'Aaron Fox to win close games.
Got to get to a break. When we get back, continuing the conversation. Also, ESPN Milwaukee, they basically suggest sending a message.
They
suggest sending a message.
I don't even know if it's a suggestion. Right? They say you should just do it.
To Brock Purdy when they start the game if you are on that Packers defensive line. We'll talk about it. Stiles and Watkins, Sactown Sports.
Last season, the Sacramento Kings gave us a little bit of everything. A Pacific Division type GM of the Year, Coach of the Year, Clutch Player of the Year, All-Stars and All-NBA performers. Plus, we got to light the beam.
Here's a steal by Fox, a breakaway. He's got the rip with the left hand.
What does this season have in store? Find out. Each and every Sacramento Kings game can be heard right here on your proud home of the Beam team, Sactown Sports and SactownSports.com.
Plantar fasciitis feels like pointed, sharp pain, very intense. It can make your eyes water. It makes you walk funny because you're trying to get pressure off your heel. I had instability. I was so frustrated. I didn't know what to do. And I was driving past the Good Feet store. I mean, why not? Give it a try.
For over 20 years, we've been helping people like Teresa actually live the life they love without their feet getting in the way.
They wanted to make sure they fitted me with the right thing. And so they brought out several different arch supports and gave me the opportunity to try them in shoes and walk around with them until they found the perfect ones for my feet. I had no idea that they would be that patient, and I had no idea they would be that kind. And you just knew, like, your feet, just when they got on the right ones, they were like, oh yeah. And it really did make a big difference. It made my foot not hurt. I'm Teresa, and that's my Good Feet story.
See what we can do for you with a free personalized arch support fitting at the Good Feet store.
Visit the Good Feet store in Sacramento, Roseville, and Vacaville.
Big savings are back at Folsom Lake Honda, your one-stop Honda shop.
Looking to own or lease? We have options for everyone. Plus, lower interest rates at Folsom Lake Honda make for lower payments. It's no wonder Folsom Lake Honda is your one-stop Honda shop.
Get an instant cash offer for your trade at FolsomLakeHonda.com. We'll buy your car whether you buy from us or not.
Visit us today at FolsomLakeHonda.com.
Folsom Lake Honda, yeah, your one-stop Honda shop.
The Sacramento Sports Hall of Fame induction celebration is back Sunday, February 4th at the brand new venue at Thunder Valley Casino Resort. Join us as we induct the class of 2024. NBA champion Matt Barnes, All-Star James Donaldson, Major League Baseball's Nick Johnson and Leon Lee, and world champion triathlete Jamie Whitmore. Get your tickets now at Ticketmaster.com. For all info, go to SacSportsHOF.com.
Hi, this is Dusty Baker, proud member of the Sacramento Sports Hall of Fame. You have to be there to see it at Thunder Valley Casino.
Have you ever envisioned having $500,000 in advertising to conquer the remodel market, but felt overwhelmed at the thought of going it alone? Now you don't have to. Join Subcontractors United and share your advertising with 2 other contractors in your trade. Get $500,000 in advertising for only $1,042 a month. We are so sure this will work that we're giving away free advertising until June 2024 to qualified contractors. Visit subcontractorsunited.com today.
The PGA club fitters at the Hagen Oaks Player Performance Studio know that golf should be fun. They also know that players of all abilities will hit the ball farther and straighter, play better golf, shoot lower scores, and have more fun if they get fitted before they purchase golf clubs. Hagen Oaks delivers the same technology and major brands used to fit PGA and LPGA professionals. See how the game can be even more fun. Hagen Oaks Player Performance Studio fittings are available 7 days a week. Make yours today by calling 916-808-2531. That's
The Kings have a franchise player. It's uncomfortable. We have some clutch numbers that if you're driving, you might want to pull over to hear this stuff. And if you're watching on YouTube, you might want to cover your ears here because it's bad. It's bad. But before we get to De'Aaron Fox's, literally he's anti-clutch this season. Whatever you could do however opposite you could be of last season when you won the award, that's essentially what De'Aaron Fox has been. But before we get there, you're listening to Stiles and Watkins. All guests and callers join us from the Folsom Lake Honda hotline. Folsom Lake Honda, your one-stop Honda shop. Let's get out to TC, 916-339-1140. He wants to be a part of Stiles and Watkins. What's up, TC? What you got for us?
Man, what's up?
What is up?
Not too much, man.
Man, ain't nothing too much, man. I'm still livid about that game last night. Check it out, man. I got a few points, man. It might be a rant, but this is like true and facts to me, man. This is how I feel. This is how everybody should feel, even in the organization. First and foremost, we'll start with Mike Brown. I love Mike. But, Mike, you got to get your rotations correct, dude. Like, Shasha was balling last night. He should have been in the game, and you got to, start knowing about your rotations when people's on fire, when they're not. Just because you're a starter doesn't mean that you need to be in the game, even if you're off. You got to roll with the hot hand, Mike. Mike, you have to get your rotations together. Start calling timeouts. This is not the Phil Jackson Lakers or Chicago Bulls where you can sit back and say, oh, you guys have figured it out. I'm not going to call a timeout. No, this team is not established enough, and they keep showing us time and time after that. Check it out. Monty, make a move, man. We need another dude in here that can go get a basket. I know you want to wait and do all that. No, bro, we don't have a time to wait. Get another guy in here that can get a basket. Also, going back to Mike. Mike, check it out. This whole get into the paint and spray out to the shooters, that's a fine and dandy offense. I love it. It's fine and dandy, bro, but we need a counter partner off that. Let's, when we get in the paint, shoot the floater or try to cause contact. We got to quit. I've seen so many people get in the lane last night. HB, Domas, Fox, Monk, people get in the paint and have a wide open layup, but you pass it out to get a three-pointer and somebody breaks the shot. Like, that's cool when you're on, bro, but when you're not, you got to start taking on, like, those middies. What happened to our mid-range? Fox, you were lethal at that last year. Bro, now you're just turning into, like, Steph Curry, shooting a bunch of three-point. Like, come on, bro. Like, seriously. This team, front office, bro, we got a lot to figure out. It's not going downhill, bro, but we have to figure this out. Like, seriously. That's all I got for y'all, man.
Drop the mic,
As
TC.
always, incredible.
Drop the mic. Look, I just want to speak to TC's first point about Sasha Vezenkov. I was so happy for Sasha. I mean, he's a +7 in 18 minutes, 14 points. And how do you see this, Chris? Well, it was Herter, right? It's between the two of them. You're not going to play both of them, right?
Yeah, and Sasha didn't really have a good second half. I mean, he had a great first half. He was always in the right spot. And I'm looking at it now. He played 8 minutes in that second half and really didn't do much of anything. And so I think for Sasha, it's kind of unfortunate, but I do think it was just the timing of when he not decided to play well, but he had a good first half, and it got him into the rotation into the second half, but he didn't really have, if he would have had the same level of impact if instead of in the first half, he had that impact in the second half, he's probably finishing that game. But since he got put back out there and really didn't have the same flow and mojo that he had in the first stint, I think Mike went away from him, and I don't have a big problem with that. I mean, Sasha did play really, really well last night, but, they also attacked him. They treated him differently in that second stint. It felt like Phoenix said, all right, like, we just let that dude Sasha Vezenkov have a career high in that first half. Next time he comes out, we're going to play him off the floor. We're going to attack him, get him into switches defensively to make Mike Brown make a decision of, if you're going to keep this guy out here, we're going to keep attacking him, so he better be hitting shots on the other end. And again, in the second half, 1 for 2, didn't take a 3. And you can, say some of that is maybe them not trying to get him the ball, but I think that's the breaks. I mean, Sasha is out there with a lot of other really talented guys, and he's not going to get a ton of touches. So I just kind of think he got lost in the numbers game. I don't agree with Mike Brown finishing the game with HB. I think I've let my feelings on HB be known, but I understand why yesterday when HB is, I would say HB actually had a better first half as well. But, I guess, I don't know. I can't really justify the HB being in at the end, but I definitely
think comfortable.
Probably.
That's
but
what
even
it is.
then, I feel like he should have gone with Trey Lyles. But
Trey Lyles, 14 points.
That explains the Sasha thing.
Or 14 minutes, and he took 2 shots.
Yeah, not a single shot in the second half.
Okay. Harrison Barnes, 34 minutes. He took 9 shots. He was 2 of 6 from 3. He had 8 points, and I believe all of those 8 were in the first half.
In the second half, he played 17 minutes, 0 of 3, 0 of 2 from 3, no points, 1 turnover, 1 assist, 1 rebound.
And that's where I'm at with Mike Brown, right? Towards the end, I guess there are a couple different conversations. The timeout thing, and you have the ball, your 2 best guys have the basketball, your 3 best guys if you're including Malik. I'm not giving Coach any flack for that.
Yeah.
But some of the decisions on who was the secondary pieces that were on the floor, or of the Harrison Barnes, and to a lesser degree, okay, Kevin Herter, I don't know. I know he plays really hard, right? I know he plays really hard. I could question him on that stuff, but I'm not going to question him on calling timeouts when he called timeouts.
Yeah.
And they couldn't figure it out. I mean, like we're talking about, that becomes the question, right? Here is the question. Do they win that? Basically, if the main guys had the ball the whole time, and De'Aaron, Sabonis, and Malik, Trey Lyles being on the floor or Sasha being on the floor, does that even make a difference?
No, it doesn't.
It shouldn't. No, because we know where the ball was going to go. So we can sit here and discuss it, but I don't think that's why they lost.
Well,
and
that's why, and that's why I think the guy that they need to go out there and get at the deadline, I don't necessarily think it has to be the big star for that reason. Like at the end of the game, I'm more than comfortable with those three guys being how the Kings go down, but the other pieces, like Keegan Murray, he hits that three that De'Aaron gets the offensive rebound. That's why Keegan's out there. He's out there to hit that shot specifically. If those three guys get boggled up too much, that's what Keegan's for. That's what that other guy is going to be out there for. The other two need to bring something else. Keegan is they're going to rely on him for his size and for his perimeter presence, and that's why I would like that other person. I don't think it has to be a shooter. I don't think it's got to be a Kevin Huerter. I don't think it's got to be a Zach LaVine, a Pascal Siakam. To me, it'd be a lot more useful if that guy was a defensive-minded long four that they could have put on KD or something in that kind of situation. I think that they would be better utilized getting a toolsy, actual Swiss Army knife as that fifth option in that lineup. To me, that makes that closing rotation just a lot more versatile and a lot more dangerous.
There have been some low points in this season. And look, the Kings are still in the playoffs. And as of right now, right, they're flirting with the play-in at this point.
Yeah, 7 seed right now.
They are in the play-in.
They are 7 seed right now.
They are in the play-in.
They are a game back or a game ahead of the Suns right now.
So there have been some low points, right? Mm-hmm. And it's a lot easier to say, hey, guys, don't worry about it. They're still the 5th seed. There's a big difference between the 5th seed and the 7th seed. I don't think I need to explain that.
You could be out of the playoffs as a 7th seed. You lose 2 games in the play-in tournament.
You're cooked.
You don't even make the dance.
So we've had some low points. You had the Houston Rockets situation. You had the Blazers. You had the Hornets. A very confusing stretch of games for the Kings, but I'm finding it hard, Chris, and I know they played some really good teams, but this is later in the season. It's not early in the season. It's hard for me to not say this is probably the low point of the season.
Yeah, I'm looking at it now. This is only the 4th time. Let me make sure I get this right here. Yeah, this is only the 4th, I guess technically 5th time, that the Kings have lost 3 straight games under the Mike Brown era. I say technically 5th because, they lost 3 straight playoff games. So that's kind of why I don't count it. But so, I mean, in the regular season, and the other 3-game losing streak this season was the first 3, it was in the first bit of the season. So it definitely feels like this is the lowest it's been between this Philly game, the Milwaukee game, and now this Suns game. Granted, all on the road against quality opponents, but
the only
how much have we talked about, though? This is the midterm, right? This is the proving ground for where are you at 40 games throughout the season. You're playing really quality opponents, not even the tippy top. We're not talking Denver, Milwaukee, Denver, Boston, Minnesota. We're not talking those teams. We're talking the tier right under that. And they reached that level these last 2 games, but to not get the result, I mean, that's really what matters. I think it's a good step that they competed against those 2 teams, but at the end of the day, again, you don't get any of the results. So you got to say that this is the most disappointing stretch of the season so far, because you would have at least liked to get one of them, and you can live with competing in at least the other. Well, I guess they didn't compete in Philly, but it was a competitive 3-game stretch.
The most impressive thing from this 3-game losing streak is that they managed to lose 3 completely different ways.
Fact.
They lost in a blowout.
Yeah. Yep.
They lost in a very competitive game where they just couldn't make their free throws, and ultimately they lost on a buzzer beater.
Yep.
And then they blew a 20-point lead in 7 minutes.
Crazy.
Is there another way to lose a basketball game?
I don't want to find out. I'll tell you that.
We might.
I don't want to. I'm good. I'm so good.
All right. Break time. When we get back, we got some of your texts we want to read off, and we see the phone lines lighting up. We will get to them as well. And eventually we will get to the Niners and ESPN Milwaukee, basically alluding to something similar to Bounty Gate. Stiles and Watkins, Sactown Sports.
The NFL's leading rusher plays here.
A handoff to McCaffrey, walks in the end zone. Handoff to McCaffrey, takes it right down to the goal line. He does his thing again. McCaffrey goes in motion right. Backwards pass led by Juszczyk. A block there. Hurdles a man. 10-5. Touchdown! CMC!
can hear all of Christian McCaffrey's touchdowns on your home for 49ers football. Sactown Sports.
Slayer and get your guaranteed maximum refund? It feels like the last level of a video game, facing off against the final boss who stands between you and your refund.
All your refund has belonged to me.
Using the power of Tax Layer like a secret power-up he doesn't see coming.
Only the most tax confident can defeat me.
Throwing your laptop at his video game face and watching him crumble into a giant pile of shiny coin tax refunds.
Oh, not fair. You use Tax Slayer.
Start for free and get your guaranteed maximum refund. Tax Layer. File fearlessly.
Life insurance. Why are you putting it off? Can't afford it? Too much hassle? Think you don't need it? There's lots of excuses for putting off life insurance. But if you weren't there, who would pay the mortgage and other bills? With Ethos, you could be covered in 10 minutes and boom, family protected. Ethos, fast and easy online term life insurance. Up to $2 million in coverage with no medical exam. Some policies as low as $1 a day. Answer a few health questions and get your free quote at getethos.com. That's getethos.com.
Bonneville International Radio Station contests are open to participants at least 18 years of age and older that are residents of California and who reside in one of the 6 counties that make up the Sacramento metro area, unless otherwise specified. Employees or agents of the station, Bonneville International Corporation, other area radio stations, or any entity associated with the contest are not eligible to win, unless the station otherwise specifies in its own discretion. Persons who have won in the last 30 days from a station contest or event may not be eligible. For a copy of the general contest rules, visit khdk.com.
Grab the keys to a new fuel-efficient Toyota. Head into the new year with more peace of mind and Toyota's legendary reliability. Get to your local Toyota dealer today and shop Toyota's entire lineup of 16 hybrid and electrified vehicles to choose from. Right now, get low 1.99% APR plus $2,500 bonus cash on the all-electric 2023 BZ4X. Toyota, let's go places. Offer available through TFS to buyers with premium-ready credit ends 1/31/24.
Guys, did you know your testosterone affects everything in your system, including how you feel and perform every day? Right now, Revive Men's Health Sacramento will check your testosterone for free. Knowing your T levels is the first step in understanding if you have low T. Your testosterone level impacts your energy, libido, sleep, weight, hair loss, mood, and even ED. Maintaining an appropriate T level can change your whole life. Most men start to see changes in their hormone levels in their 30s. Experience and results matter. So what are you waiting for? Get your T levels checked today by local, experienced, and trusted men's health experts. They've helped thousands of men since 2011. They're so confident they can help you, they even guarantee it. Call Revive today and schedule your free testosterone test, free exam, and free consultation. Call Revive Men's Health at 916-277-8599. That's 916-277-8599. Or visit revivemenshealth.com.
Sacramento's premier music festival, Country in the Park, is back. 2 big ol' nights, May 17th and 18th at Cal Expo with Brantley Gilbert, Dustin Lynch, Walker Hayes, and more. 2-day GA tickets are on sale now starting at $85, or upgrade your experience with VIP or pit passes. Country in the Park, May 17th and 18th at Cal Expo. For more information, visit CITPfest.com. Brought to you by Oak Ridge Winery.
When the unexpected happens, trust AutoAccident.com. Loyalty and compassion set them apart. They're with you every step of the way. AutoAccident.com. That's AutoAccident.com.
California's largest sportsman's expo is back Thursday through Sunday at Cal Expo in Sacramento. Buy the latest gear, meet the experts, learn about fishing, hunting, boating, and off-roading. See Toyota's all-new Tacoma. This is the place to discover your next adventure, nearby or around the world. Your life outdoors at the International Sportsman's Expo, Thursday through Sunday at Cal Expo in Sacramento. More info at sportsexpos.com.
Awesome. Hey, babe, can you check the front door? My package is here.
Yeah, on it. Hey, are we still watching our show tonight?
New episode on Prime? You bet. That reminds me, let's hit Whole Foods this afternoon. We need snack supplies.
From package deliveries to entertainment and even fresh groceries, Amazon is in front of thousands of customers every single day. Learn how you can leverage their reach for your business. Text digital to 916-766-5105 now. Make the smart move. Text digital to
They're losing it. They're losing it. But Pam has been waiting during the break patiently, and we will reward that on Stiles and Watkins. What's up, Pam? What you got for us?
Hey, I got a few things. I'm just going to say them quick and then let you guys take it. Okay, the game before last against the Bucks, right? Okay, we're coming down the court at the very end, and De'Aaron's on D, and the guy from Seattle, I can't think of his name, that they traded over there, had the ball, got around De'Aaron, and there wasn't anybody else around. So my question on that one is, okay, in that situation, uncontested two does not cause you to lose the game.
Right.
Okay. So where was the rest of the defense? To me, now I'm a little more college oriented. I'd pull the defense away from the best.
Oh no!
I think Pam cut out, but no, I mean,
she's back.
Call back, Pam. Call
Still
back.
Yeah, we got you.
Call back?
No, we got. I think we got you.
Yeah. Anyway, so that's my question on that game. It's like, what's going on with the D there? Then last night, how in the world with 8 minutes, 20 points? Okay, so what do we have? We have De'Aaron coming down the court, and what he's doing is, he's taking over the end of the game, but he's driving into the middle. When you want to stall out a game, which looked like they were doing, you pass the ball. You move the ball around the perimeter. You guys tell me something's crazy with that team. The other thing, this is stupid saying, but I'll say it. I hate watching De'Aaron come up and laugh and giggle with all the opponents when we leave.
Wow.
We talked about that yesterday.
No, that's a great call. Thank you, Pam. Feel free to call back.
Yeah.
I want to know what college that you're interested in. March Madness is around the corner.
Pam sounds like a coach to me.
Pam
sounds
again.
like she's seen
Pam
the
should
court.
Get a segment.
So that's a lot here to kind of break down. The first thing, which we kind of discussed yesterday, I would have blitzed Dame. Let's not forget, Coach Mike Brown had been ejected. Maybe, Jordan, maybe they decided not to do that for whatever reason. Dame is a foul hunter. They probably just didn't want to foul him. That was my take. But me and Chris literally did not agree on how they should have ended that game. So not to rehash that.
I just think it was low basketball IQ from Sabonis. I think Sabonis, to Pam's point there, I mean, she pretty much laid it out. Like, I mean, in that situation, there's no reason for Sabonis. If we look back at it for everyone, look back at the play. Sabonis is standing at the free throw line as Dame is crossing half court, and Brook Lopez is still in the backcourt. There's no reason for Sabonis to be playing at that free throw line. No one's going to be shooting from the free throw line or even from the 3-point line. Like Dame, if he's going to take that shot, he's going to at least be a couple steps behind the 3-point line. Maybe you're not guessing 38 feet or whatever he was, but to me, Sabonis has to recognize in that moment you have to come up. So I don't need to tell Pam that. Pam pretty much said it.
Yeah, and then to the note about last night wearing out the clock, that's where I think that they didn't have a game plan.
I think that's an NBA-wide thing, though. I wouldn't say that's a King-specific thing because I always wonder that, too. I mean, it feels like it's almost like when NFL teams end up playing prevent defense, they always say it actually prevents you from winning because you're playing defensively instead of aggressively. I think that happens in the NBA all the time where they take dribbling out the clock literally and they sit there and wait for the clock to get down to 10 seconds.
But I don't feel like
and
they
then just
really
run
did
a pick
that,
and
though.
roll. And instead it's like in those moments you need to, instead of looking for one shot, you just got to continue to run your offense. And I don't know. It didn't feel to me like the Kings looked for the best possible shot, and it didn't really feel like to me they were winding the clock.
But that's
down
what I'm saying.
much at all.
They didn't know what they were doing, right? They weren't trying to wind down the clock. They weren't just saying, hey, best shot available. That is where maybe Coach Mike Brown, unless we're in the huddle and we know, hey, guys, do this, and then they didn't do it, we don't know because clearly they had no game plan to end that game, and they were just hoping,
caught off guard.
Yeah, they were hoping that the Suns would lay down, but the Suns, they had won 7 of their last 10. They're trying to get rolling here. They got
8
the
of
big
11 now.
They have some ground to cover. So, and like we said, the closer we get to the end of this season, teams aren't just going to lay down.
Nope.
Okay? They want to be in the playoffs, and don't nobody want to be in the play-in.
No.
And the last note that Pam said, we spent about 2 segments on this yesterday, and I'll tell you what, Chris, it happened at the end of the game, and I saw De'Aaron dapping up KD, and I saw that little smirk, and I was this close to posting something, to tweeting something, and I said, you know what? I'm not going to do it. I'm going to see if it just goes away. And here is Pam, who ends her call in discussing it.
I will say real quick on that note, Jason Anderson, who was the only media member who's traveling right now, did write in the Sac B yesterday. He wrote, quote, Fox seemed to be stewing over the loss. He sat alone silently in the corner of the locker room for more than 20 minutes and declined to answer questions as he left.
So that's a different version of it, right? You have somebody, Carmichael Dave, in the crossover. He says, oh, well, a franchise player answers the media, okay? So that's Dave's opinion. Or we could say, I want my guy so upset he doesn't care about the media. Sometimes you darned if you do, darned if you don't.
Absolutely.
Right? But to get back to, I guess, Pam's, I guess what you're saying is you can compartmentalize two things.
Yeah.
KD's my guy. I'm going to say what's up to him. It ain't his fault I turned the ball over. Right? He played well, but I'm still ticked. It doesn't mean that you're not ticked off.
Right.
But fans don't get to see you in the locker room, and fans, you see you chumming it up, and you go to the locker room, and, you know, De'Aaron has been on record saying he flushes these losses. So you can take it a bunch of different ways, but I'm not saying it's wrong. I'm not saying it's right. I'm just saying that there's what the fans get to see. And thank you for kind of laying out what the fans don't get to see. I don't know if that makes them feel any better, right? But ultimately, you got to believe that these guys care. But that is good context that clearly he was ticked off. But it's, again, hey, wow, what a victory. Nobody's done this. Hold on, let me find it again.
Hold on. Get that number.
Yeah, hold on.
We got to throw that number in as much as we can.
Good job. Hey, good job, KD. Teams before that, since August 23rd, 2020, were 0 in 1,244. I still can't get over that.
That's insane.
Biggest fourth quarter comeback in NBA since the bubble. They were down 22 with 8 minutes and 10 seconds left. Teams were 0 in 1,244. I can't get over it.
And bubble basketball was different too. So the fact that it was in the bubble tells you that, like, I mean, in the bubble, there's not really like momentum or like, you know, like crazy momentum swings, and people were just wild results were happening. So I don't know. It's crazy.
916-339-1140. Before we get to a break, let's hear from David, who wants to be a part of Stiles and Watkins. What's up, David? How you feeling? What you got?
Good. What's up, fellas?
Not too much.
I have a question for you real quick. When the clock starts, when they inbound a pass, I believe if it's under 3 minutes, the clock, no matter where the player touches the ball, the clock starts, right? I can't remember, but I know Fox has this habit, like last night when we're trying to prolong the game and the lead, he lets the ball roll down the court instead of picking it up and starting the clock. I don't understand why this is a bad habit he's had his whole career. And it's like when you're getting dominated like that, you want to run out the clock, not let the ball roll down until it reaches the half court line and then pick it up and start dribbling. I just don't understand that at all. The second thing is that I think that what we're seeing right now is that it's kind of turned into the Monk and Fox show at the end of the games, and all the other guys that can shoot are being marginalized. Herter and especially Keegan. And last night, I have no idea what Fox was thinking. He was rushing shots all over the place when there was still plenty of time on the clock. The guy's just seems lost in the sauce sometimes and makes, probably is in that moment decisions. But that's part of the growth that you'd want to see from him, is not making those mistakes and paying attention to the small details that add up to the big win. And the last thing is, what the hell is going on with Brown, man? It's like the only thing the guy seems to be doing right now is managing minutes.
Yeah, got to get to a break, David. Thanks for the call. A lot to get to there. Most important, I mean, like we said, everybody has some blame right now. I will say, and we do our prop talk, I wouldn't touch any of the secondary Kings players in the second half. I mean, nobody shoots the basketball. Harrison Barnes doesn't shoot. Kevin Herter doesn't shoot. It's just De'Aaron Fox, Malik Monk, and Sabonis. And we don't complain when it works, but that is why we've even had conversations about Malik starting or Malik not starting. They just need somebody else. And is part of that, well, I'm going to shoot because I don't trust Harrison Barnes? I don't know. I think that we're to the point now where the Kings might be suffering from that clutch player award last season, and they don't really know. They need to maybe revisit how they see all this. All right, Nate's giving me the Nate's giving me the Dame time as Chris disagrees, so we will discuss why he disagrees when we get back. Stiles and Watkins, Sactown Sports.
The NFL's leading rusher plays here.
And a handoff to McCaffrey, walks in the end zone. Handoff to McCaffrey, takes it right down to the goal line. He does his thing again. McCaffrey goes in motion right. Backwards pass led by Juszczyk. A block there. Hurdles a man. 10-5. Touchdown! CMC!
You can hear all of Christian McCaffrey's touchdowns on your home for 49ers football. Sactown Sports.
Carmichael Dave here for Jiffy Lube, your proud sponsor of the Drive of the Game. Now listen to every Kings game for Gary Gerald's Drive of the Game call. Then listen to Jason and myself the next morning for a chance to win a $100 Jiffy Lube certificate, courtesy of all the Jiffy Lube locations in the greater Sacramento area. Get your vehicle ready for the holiday driving season at Jiffy Lube today. Oil changes, wiper blades, tire rotations, and more. For more information, go to jiffylube.com.
Beachhead Deli on 711 K Street is now your place to go in downtown Sacramento prior to all the games, concerts, and events. Conveniently located just across the street from the arena, Beachhead Deli features the finest gourmet sandwiches and craft beverages anywhere. Beachhead Deli at 711 K Street is also your premier lunch destination 7 days a week. Come by and say hi to new owner Brad Wakai. He's so excited to take care of all your taste bud needs. That's Beachhead Deli at 711 K Street in Sacramento.
As a mom, comforting my family is what I do best. Vicks Vapor Stick provides soothing, non-medicated Vicks vapors in an easy-to-apply stick, and it dries fast, so there's no mess. I use it to comfort myself and my family.
Thanks, Mom.
Vicks Vapo Stick, soothing comfort for the whole family. And when you need more comfort for yourself, try Vicks Vapo Shower for steamy Vicks Vapors.
Use as directed. Vapo Stick for use ages 4 and up. Vapo Shower use for adults only.
If you're looking to move out of your parents' place, you could really cut expenses by bundling your car and renter's insurance with Progressive, which is good because your little brother has gotten really territorial. You're blood related. You'd think it would be fine to share food in the fridge. I mean, who writes their name on every individually wrapped slice of cheese, Tyler? Still, you've got to admire the commitment. So bundle your renter's and car insurance with Progressive and use the savings to help you move out and have all the cheese you want. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company. Coverage provided and serviced by affiliates and third-party insurers. Not available in all states.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack. Sure, you can post your job to some job board, but then all you can do is hope the right person comes along, which is why you should try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter doesn't depend on candidates finding you. Its powerful technology identifies people with the right experience and actively invites them to apply to your job. You get qualified candidates fast. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you what you're looking for. The needle in the haystack.
4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate through the site within the first day. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free. Just go to this exclusive web address, ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/free.
I remember as if it were yesterday. I reached down to move a nightstand and was astonished at the weight of the piece. Hi, this is Frank LaRosa with a word about Naturewood Home Furnishings. At that moment, I instantly recognized the difference between Naturewood's quality furniture that will last a lifetime versus lesser quality furniture found elsewhere. Now, I suppose there's a huge difference in what you'd put in your first apartment and what you would live with in the comfort of your own home. Right now, Naturewood Home Furnishings Made in USA sale is a great time to fill your home with solid, superior quality furniture to reflect your own love for life. With brands like Sam Moore, Stanton, Stickley, Hilltop Hickory, Simply Amish, and many more, Naturewood Home Furnishings has tables, chairs, couches, and, yes, nightstands, and more at their Made in USA sale. Find furniture that will be with you forever. Naturewood Home Furnishings, off Highway 50 at Hazel. Look for the water wheel.
Jerry and Kenny here from Bell Brothers, the No Surprise guys. We love that old song, Respect. You know, RESPECT. It's a good song and a good business philosophy. At Bell Brothers, everything we do is designed to show respect for our customers. We show up on time out of respect. Our technicians are clean-cut, friendly, and wear identification badges out of respect. We do good deeds for free for our customers and leave their homes cleaner than we found them. That's right, out of respect. So, if you want plumbing and AC service from a company that will show you some RESPECT, call Bell Brothers. We promise to respect your time, your home, and you. Call Bell Brothers right now to schedule an $87 precision tune-up. Or call if you have plumbing problems. Our number is 916-444-1234 or find us online at thenosurpriseguys.com.
The No Surprise Guys, Bell Brothers.
Don't miss out on New Year's savings at Folsom Lake Kia. Low prices and payments on your favorite new Kia models. Go see my friends at Folsom Lake Kia right here in Sacramento for over 25 years or folsomlakekia.com.
KHTKAM Sacramento, KYMX HD2 Sacramento. From the Power Business Technology Toshiba Studios, your flagship station for the Beam Team.
Should we light the beam? Light the beam, baby.
Sactown Sports. Call or text at 916-339-1140.
Do the Kings need to diversify those who take the shots towards the end of the game? Stiles and Watkins. And Watkins not really digging Stiles. I don't want to put words in your mouth because I said a lot, as I typically do, and we were up against a break. So what part that I said about basically the end of the game did you not agree with?
I just think that that's, again, a product of NBA basketball. I just think NBA basketball, the last 5 minutes, our stars have the ball in their hands and they make the decisions. And whether we like it or not, whether it's the best form of basketball or not, I think it kind of doesn't matter because that's just kind of how it is De'Aaron Fox is going to have the ball in his hands. Every decision is going to be his. And if not his, it's going to be Malik's or Sabonis's. And it's just ends up becoming a really free-flowing game at that point. Like, there's not really much of offenses. It's a lot of
pickup. Yeah,
it just becomes hunting mismatches. And, that's why De'Aaron was so great in the clutch last year is he would just expose mismatches. They would get screen on him until they would get switches, and then De'Aaron would expose the mismatch. But I just don't think that you're ever going to see the Kings running their motion, high-low, Sabonis dribble handoff offense with 3 to 2 minutes to go in the game.
I do think that's something that doesn't get talked about enough. So if you are a fan just watching the game, it's something that you just have to pick up on, right? Yeah. It's almost unspoken. I don't think coach is ever going to say, yeah, no, we typically stop running our offense at the 5-minute mark. Not. But they do.
Yeah.
Right. But they do. And honestly,
let the athletes be athletes.
On the other side of things, Eric Gordon, it was just a complete mess and everybody was wide open. Eric Gordon, I think, had at least 2 threes during that run.
2 threes in a minute stretch.
And both threes I thought were bad shots because it wasn't Kevin Durant or Devin Booker.
Right.
And he made them. Yep. But on the opposite side of that, if in reality, especially the way he's been shooting, I know he shot well in Milwaukee. In reality, and not just me, fans in general, is it easy? Now, if the question is De'Aaron Fox good enough? That's what we're going to kind of get into. And at this point, we're just going to roll it into we're probably going to roll it into the roundtable anyway. But you say that about De'Aaron Fox, okay? Now think about who the other options are on the team. There's 2 minutes left in a game, and we had callers, Kevin Huerter this, blah, blah, blah. No. De'Aaron Fox kicks out to Kevin Huerter.
Yep.
Do you actually want Kevin Huerter shooting the ball with under 3 minutes left right now?
If he's open, I do. I still do, yeah. If he's open, that's what he's on the floor to do. So he better do it. I mean, and he better make it. That's the key.
I don't. And we haven't seen it.
There's got to be 5 guys out there.
But we haven't seen it though. But now you're going back on what I was saying.
Well, no, I was saying earlier, everything runs through De'Aaron, Malik, Sabonis. The other guys are just out there to make the play if it comes to that. And that's why Keegan is never going to be ISO'd in the last 3 minutes of the game. He's going to be out there because they're going to forget about him, focusing so much on De'Aaron, on Malik, on Sabonis in the pick and roll that they're going to leave Keegan Murray open, and that's what Keegan Murray's out there to do. Hopefully, the same happens with Kevin Huerter, and he gets left open. And hopefully, Kevin, please, he makes the shot.
What about Harrison Barnes?
I mean, that's a loss.
But that's what's crazy to me,
brother. Come on.
That's why this is a problem. All guests and callers join us from Folsom Lake Honda Hotline. Folsom Lake Honda, your one-stop Honda shop. You know who's going to get us back on track.
Who?
And he's ready. And he's been waiting.
Sweet Will.
Willie is on the call. What you got for us, Willie?
What's up, Stiles and Watkins? Hey, man, look. Here's the deal. It's not our score, man. We be 20 points up on teams. It's our lackadaisical defense. It's turnovers. It's not Brown. I've never seen Brown. I've never seen Brown call a timeout and do a strategy or write a play or whatever. And then my boy, I love Fox. And Domas, but those guys are too casual on defense. They're too casual, just like on the shot that Dame hit. Dame go, you can't let Dame take that shot, man. You cannot. Everybody knows you can't let Dame take the last shot. You can't let Dame take the last shot. What happened? They came down there, and Fox, the defense was kind of weak, man. The defense was weak, and then he let him bury the three. But the thing is, man, it's not the points. It don't matter who shoot the last shot. The point is, they never should have got. They was up 22.
Yeah.
I mean, the thing is, Stiles, you guys know it, man. You guys know what's up. Look, they do not cherish the ball. See, we need a vocal leader on that team like a Marcus Smart or Draymond, somebody who's vocal, who get in guys' butts. We too casual. We make too many. How many turnovers did we have last night?
Too many.
It was a lot. Let me see here. I got it right here. The Kings had 14 turnovers. Honestly, it's about the timing of the turnovers, Willie, because the Suns had more. They had 16.
They did. But you're right. It's the timing, and it's like they're unprovoked turnovers. A lot of them. They just throw the ball away. Or, they dribble off a knee or something. It's mind-boggling that they should have won both those games, and they lost them both on missed free throws and turnovers. You up by 20. Were they up by 20 in the fourth?
22.
Up by
22 with 8 minutes left.
You see what I'm saying, man? See, it don't matter who take the last shot. They should have never got to that.
Yeah. Agreed.
That's what's frustrating. And then, like I say, you see, y'all get on me. When I be telling you about HB. See, HB have a good game. He'll tease us. He make us. We get back in line. But HB is done, man. He has no legs.
But they're gonna.
Nobody.
I know they're gonna keep putting him out there, Willie. They're gonna keep putting him out there. Thanks for the call.
I'm looking at it here too. Kings had, to your point about the timing of turnovers, Kings had 8 fourth quarter turnovers.
8 fourth quarter turnovers. So they had over half of their turnovers in one quarter.
Yeah.
They had 14 on the whole night.
3 from Malik, 2 surprisingly from Alex Len, 1 from De'Aaron, 1 from Domas, 1 from HB.
And again, getting back to the Coach Mike Brown thing, he called 2 between that 8-minute mark, and we can count. We don't necessarily have to count the last one, but we can. From the 8-minute mark to the end of the game, he called 3 timeouts, people. He called 3 timeouts. Yep. And this is not a young team. So,
and again, when Mike Brown talks about internal leadership too, like Mike Brown's calling the timeouts. At that point, everybody's seeing the team collapse in front of their faces.
No.
Somebody on the floor's got to do something about it.
There's no play to draw up. The play is don't turn the ball over.
What did Chris Biederman say yesterday? Sometimes not about the X's and O's, about the Jimmies and Joes.
The Jimmies and Joes.
Right?
And the Jimmies and Joes, I loved that, by the way. And the Jimmies and Joes did not know where to go last night. Got to get to a break. When we get back, continuing to discuss the Kings and the breaking down of the Kings, going to take a quick respite from the Kings to discuss ESPN Milwaukee sending out Bountygate on Brock Purdy as well. Stiles and Watkins, Sactown Sports.
What's the latest with the San Francisco 49ers? Carmichael, Dave, and Jason Ross keep you up to date on all things red and gold during the Niners at 9 every weekday at 9 a.m. on Sactown Sports at SactownSports.com.
The world has changed a lot these last few years. You can do pretty much anything from your home, including order your new Honda from Northern California's #1 Honda dealer, Stockton Honda. Check out our great selection at StocktonHonda.com or come in today and get pre-approved all in the blink of an eye. Stockton Honda makes buying a car simple and stress-free.
Anytime, anywhere, it's all here. StocktonHonda.com.
Capital Casino, conveniently located on 411 North 16th Street in downtown Sacramento.
Hey, it's Carmichael Dave for my good friends at Fire Wings with some bullet points for you to remember so you can be a professional fire wing eater. Like Wings Day Wednesday, 88-cent wings each and every Wednesday. 3 flavor lineup includes 7 classic wing flavors, 7 dry rub wing flavors, 7 fusion wing flavors. It's the perfect fast casual eating establishment for the entire family. Go to firewings.com or download the app, find a location near you, order online, earn rewards. Fire Wings, just wing it.
Live and local. Live and local.
This is Sactown Sports.
Clutch Player of the Year. Clutch, not so much. De'Aaron Fox. Chris, you have some numbers. Chris Watkins out in Stiles, 2 p.m. That's where we're taking you. Chris has some numbers that sounds like the opposite. When you look up antonyms in the dictionary.
Good word.
There you go. That is what De'Aaron Fox is to what he was last season in the Clutch.
Actually, funny enough, if you look at the Clutch numbers, the Kings representative for Clutch Player of the Year would be Malik Monk, and it's really not even close. But let's get to De'Aaron first. His clutch numbers, like you said, have just been absolutely terrible. I mean, frankly, they are horrible when you look at his clutch numbers, and I'm looking at the totals here, not even just the averages per game. De'Aaron is shooting 39% from the field in clutch situations.
From the field.
From the field. You don't even want to hear what he's shooting from 3.
What? Let me guess.
Yeah, go ahead and guess.
Well, if he's shooting 39 from the floor, I don't know. I'll try to be nice.
I want to get in on this. Yes. Yeah.
Go ahead.
I'll say 22.
Yeah.
22.
26.
22%, 26%.
Yeah.
Those are good guesses. Those are actually really good guesses. It's wrong, but it's good guesses. De'Aaron is 0 of 13 in clutch situation threes. He is shooting 0%.
A donut?
0 for 13 from 3 in clutch situations.
So 22 would be like 2?
22 would be an improvement. It would be probably like 2 of 12.
Or 3. In that.
I will counter that with Malik Monk. You guys were really close to Malik Monk's average. 5 of 18 from 3 Malik is in clutch situations. That's 27%.
Backsides get tight.
I wish I could tell you that De'Aaron's 3-point number is the most concerning of all of his clutch numbers, but unfortunately, I would say it gets worse.
How can it get
0%,
worse?
0 from 13. When you look at his free throw numbers, unfortunately, the one number that you probably would have guessed would be a terrible number.
Yes.
De'Aaron in clutch situations, which mind everybody out there, last 5 minutes of a 5-point game or less.
Okay.
So that's a very, very important situation, especially at the free throw line. De'Aaron Fox at the free throw line in clutch situations this season is 12 of 20, 60% in clutch situations. So
that
pretty much,
that's Shaq.
Yeah, he's
that's
Shaq. He is Shaq in the clutch at the line right now. And that's your best. That's the guy who's getting to the free throw line more than anybody else. Malik Monk actually has 25 free throw attempts in the clutch.
Difference was Shaq,
Malik
though.
shooting in the clutch?
Malik's at least shooting 88%, which also hurts to know Malik has missed 3 clutch free throws all year. I believe all 3 were in that Milwaukee game.
Shaq at least is getting the dunk and the foul.
At least,
At
right?
least.
So he's getting the 2, right?
just really terrible numbers for De'Aaron in the clutch. For what it's worth, Sabonis is shooting 70% actually in the clutch, 12 of 17. He hasn't taken a 3 in the clutch. From the free throw line, Sabonis is actually more reliable than De'Aaron. Sabonis has been 12 of 17, 70% from the line in the clutch. Here's the big thing for Domas, 29 rebounds in the clutch, 9 of which have been offensive for Sabonis in clutch situations. That's actually crazy. And then I mentioned Malik Monk is probably the Kings' best representative for clutch player of the year. Malik is shooting 47% from the field in clutch situations. I mentioned the 27% from 3, not great, 5 of 18. But from the free throw line, again, 22 of 25 with 12 assists and 4 turnovers in the clutch. So Malik actually pretty decent in the clutch. Maybe it's
bad.
him. Maybe it's him who should have the ball in his hands.
That's bad, man.
It's not great. It's definitely not great, especially, again, for your guy who is probably going to have the ball in his hands the most in those situations.
Wow.
Not ideal.
Wow. Well, look.
Not great. Not great.
At this moment in time, I think we're trying to figure out, and the rest of this season, assuming they don't make any moves, and honestly, you can make the argument even if they do make any moves, I think you have to figure out what you have in De'Aaron Fox as far as can he be 1A?
Sure.
On a championship team. I think he'd be 1A on a playoff team. He's already proved that he can be. But 1A on a team that can truly contend. If you go through the list now in your mind.
Okay, we're going to do it now.
Well, I'm just sure, right?
We're either doing it now or we're not.
Well, no, I mean,
you're already here, so we're doing it. We're doing it now. We're doing it. We're doing it.
Okay, you have Luka.
Yep.
And maybe we should only do guards. Maybe it's easier to just do guards.
No, we can do players. I think players is fine.
So you have Luka.
Yeah.
And I don't have anything written down
I'll
here.
I'll just go to general points per game leaders. I mean, that'll probably give you at least the best sense of, obviously the guys who their teams trust with the ball in their hands the most often. We have here Joel Embiid.
I
would definitely say Joel Embiid is a player that I think, if healthy, he should be good enough to have out there.
Because that's the whole thing about this exercise. There are not a lot of 1A franchise guys.
Wojbomb, are we ready for breaking news?
Yeah.
Ready?
I want to hear it.
Oh, yeah, okay.
When it breaks,
We have it first.
it's Sactown Sports breaking news.
All right. You want me to announce it? Or you got it? You guys got it. It's your show.
Breaking from Wojbomb. The Indiana Pacers are finalizing a trade to acquire all-star Pascal Siakam in a deal that will send Bruce Brown, Jordan Nwora, and 3 first-round picks to the Toronto Raptors.
Oh.
New Orleans will be a third team in the deal, sending Kira Lewis to the Raptors. It's done.
Wow.
You have Pascal Siakam to the Pacers to join Hallie, who's not coming home. Pascal Siakam.
Hey, yeah, we get to see this on Thursday.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah. What's today?
You think he'll play already?
Probably not. No, actually. But if anything, Kings definitely should win tomorrow because Pacers will be a little shorthanded.
Yeah. This helps the Kings. But, yes, Pascal Siakam, we've been hearing rumblings all yesterday.
Yeah.
Pascal Siakam to the Pacers for Bruce Brown, Jordan Nwora, and 3 first-round picks. Goodness gracious. 3 of them things. New Orleans will also be a part of the deal, be the third team sending Kira Lewis to the Raptors. Not sure what New Orleans is getting back in return. Obviously, it's something not huge. But Pascal Siakam is going to join Miles Turner and Tyrese Halliburton in Indiana.
Yeah. The thing that I'm most wrong about this trade is yesterday when we saw the initial reports that this was going to be a deal centered around Bruce Brown and 3 first-round picks with salary filler, my assumption was salary filler was a fancy word that people like to use for Buddy Hield. And it turns out it's not Buddy Hield. So I guess Buddy lives another day there in Indiana. I would be shocked if he's still there at the end of the trade deadline. But this is huge. I mean, this is obviously a massive, massive story as we've been tracking. How long has it been now? It's 4 years. Pascal Siakam has felt like
finally done.
He's been on the trade deadline. OG Anunoby, Pascal Siakam, both officially gone from Toronto. And, I think this is obviously a ton for the Pacers to give up. I mean, they better hope that Pascal signs there long term. All indications, as we've been talking about for weeks now, is that Pascal's going to test free agency no matter where he goes. But on the other end of this, I will say, to the Pacers' defense, this is a version of what I think the Kings did to get Domantas Sabonis. Mm-hmm. Is it risky? Is it a lot? A lot of people sure would say so. But in the Pacers' mind, they just got an all-NBA, all-star player to pair next to their young guard that they think is the future, and they see the success that the Kings have had, and they say, well, we can definitely at least be, because that's been the problem with the Pacers. When Tyrese went out last year, they went from being one of the best stories of the season to, I mean, what they ended up with a top 10 draft pick. So I think this, at the very least, turns the Pacers into a legitimate playoff team, and frankly, I mean, they're kind of a bit in the same position the Kings are at, where they're a good team. They're nowhere near the Celtics, the Bucks, the Sixers, the crop of the Eastern Conference. But, man, this sure does put them close to being in that conversation, a lot closer than they were 24 hours ago.
And the biggest thing is, it's a gamble. This is from Michael Grange, who writes and does a lot for the Toronto Raptors for Sportsnet in Canada. He writes, okay, Pascal Siakam bewildered and heartbroken by the Raptors' continued efforts to trade him as he remained loyal to the organization. They never planned on offering Siakam a supermax for whatever reason. It was not in their plan. The ages aren't that different, but that's what the Raptors decided, and this is what they got back. They get 3 first-round picks.
Yeah.
I guess they feel like this timeline is a bit better. That's their decision. Masai Ujiri, maybe he felt like it's just gone on too long and it was too late to kind of peel it back now. We spoke with Sean Woodley a couple weeks ago. He thought that it was a possibility that the Raptors would keep him. Well, it's not.
No.
And he gone.
Yeah.
Okay, Pascal Siakam to the Indiana Pacers, a new big 3 in the Big East. Okay, in the Eastern Conference, as he joins Halliburton and Miles Turner, and Bruce Brown now heads to Toronto to with him and Emmanuel quickly. Maybe they're trying to make some simpatico.
I think this is about future.
And Bruce Brown might get moved again, to be completely honest.
Maybe, yeah. Bruce Brown's a nice piece, though. He's like a good just role player. He ended up getting bagged out.
Well, yeah, I think he was trying to be a starter,
Yeah.
and this might put him back. Hey, Emmanuel's our guy. You're going to have to be the backup. But the big story here, Pascal Siakam. It's finally over, okay? This is another one from Woj. We got to get to a break. Indiana is sending 2 2024 first-rounders and a 2026 first to the Raptors, sources tell Woj. New Orleans send a second-round pick to Indiana.
Interesting.
Still don't know what New Orleans got back.
From the Kings' perspective, so now that we know this is what was accepted, and we've heard that this deal that the Kings had was centered around Harrison Barnes and draft picks, I would assume that it was probably HB, maybe like Davion, because I think if it's HB and Herter, I think that's a better deal than Bruce Brown and Jordan Nwora with the picks. I would also assume the Kings, I can't imagine 3 was how many the Kings. If I had to guess, the Kings probably put 2, and they were probably, at least one of those was probably heavily protected. But
there you go. Gotta go. Continue to break down this breaking news. It's done. Just in time for the Kings Roundtable. It's finished. No more Pascal Siakam calls. He's in Indiana, and honestly, based on what we're seeing, he doesn't even want to be there. It's a huge gamble with an injured point guard, but Indiana thinks that they can convince him. How do you feel? How do you feel? The Beam regime, Kings fans, how do you feel now that Pascal Siakam is off the table? Maybe more dominoes and more chips will fall. Stiles and Watkins, Sactown Sports.
On the move? Got somewhere to be?
Take Sacramento Kings basketball with you. The Sactown Sports app will let you stay connected to your passion. Never miss a moment of Sacramento Kings basketball with the Sactown Sports app.
The recent storm has caused dangerous driving conditions for us. The Arnold Law Firm has seen how a collision can turn anyone's life upside down. Be alert and stay safe. The Arnold Law Firm, providing real justice for you since 1975. Call 916-777-7777.
Jackson Hewitt has a plan to get your tax refund fast with a buck here, buck there. Here a buck, there a buck, everywhere a buck.
You don't have to wait weeks for your tax refund. Get money sooner with a no-fee refund advance loan at Jackson Hewitt.
On this loan, there's a money today guarantee. E-I-E-I-Do.
Don't settle for chicken feed. Get fast bucks at Jackson Hewitt today. No-fee refund advance loans by Republic Bank offered to eligible clients. Money today guarantee if approved for a loan on a prepaid card. Details at jacksonhewitt.com.
I tried to quit smoking cigarettes probably hundreds of times over the years. 2 or 3 days into quitting again, I go get into a vehicle, and guess what? There's a pack of cigarettes in there. I mean, I've got the unlit cigarette in my hand. And I said to myself, why do I even try to quit if I'm going to cave so easily every time? Something clicked in my head that told me I can do this.
Every attempt is part of your story to quit for good. Visit Kick It California today at kickitca.org.
California's largest sportsman's expo is back Thursday through Sunday at Cal Expo. Bring the family and discover your next adventure. Buy the latest gear, find the best destinations, learn from the experts in fishing and hunting. On the weekend, visit the Giant Youth Fair. Free entry for youth 15 and under. Your life outdoors at the International Sportsman's Expo, Thursday through Sunday at Cal Expo in Sacramento. More info at sportsexpos.com.
Sacramento's premier music festival, Country in the Park, is back. 2 big ol' nights, May 17th and 18th at Cal Expo with Brantley Gilbert, Dustin Lynch, Walker Hayes, and more. 2-day GA tickets are on sale now starting at $85, or upgrade your experience with VIP or pit passes. Country in the Park, May 17th and 18th at Cal Expo. For more information, visit CITBfest.com. Brought to you by Oak Ridge Winery.
It's time to buck up Sacramento. The professional bull riders are back. PBR Sacramento Wrangler Long Live Cowboys Classic will take over downtown's Golden One Center this February 2nd through 4th. 3 huge nights of edge-of-your-seat bucking, featuring some of the biggest bulls and toughest cowboys on the planet. Tickets are on sale now at Ticketmaster. Get your tickets for a weekend of non-stop bucking action this February 2nd through 4th.
Guys, did you know your testosterone affects everything in your system, including how you feel and perform every day? Right now, Revive Men's Health Sacramento will check your testosterone for free. Knowing your T levels is the first step in understanding if you have low T. Your testosterone level impacts your energy, libido, sleep, weight, hair loss, mood, and even ED. Maintaining an appropriate T level can change your whole life. Most men start to see changes in their hormone levels in their 30s. Experience and results matter. So what are you waiting for? Get your T levels checked today by local, experienced, and trusted men's health experts. They've helped thousands of men since 2011. They're so confident they can help you, they even guarantee it. Call Revive today and schedule your free testosterone test, free exam, and free consultation. Call Revive Men's Health at 916-277-8599. That's 916-277-8599. Or visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com.
At Elk Grove Honda, not only do we have a great selection of pre-owned certified cars at very fair prices, but every one of our pre-owned automobiles are treated with kid gloves with a 182-point inspection that covers everything from unibody to tires to brakes and engine filters. Then our certified cars receive a mobile oil change and fresh fill-up with full synthetic mobile oil. We know you have lots of choices of where to purchase your next car. Come to Elk Grove Honda, home of the 182-point inspection and mobile oil change. We're in the Elk Grove Auto Mall, Highway 99 at Elk Grove Boulevard.
Kevin Lewis of National Garage Door. Whether you need to repair a broken spring, install a new opener, or buy a quality Rainer door, National Garage Door is here for you. Call us today to see how we can transform your house with a new garage door.
638-4554 National Garage Door.
Capital Casino, conveniently located on 411 North 16th Street in downtown Sacramento.
Sactown Sports. Call or text at 916-339-1140.
The Kings Roundtable. And it's not even an emergency one like we had on Monday. But it is a breaking news focused Kings Roundtable. As again, Woj, this is 12 minutes ago, hot off the press is how you get it here at Sactown Sports. Breaking, the Indiana Pacers are finalizing a trade to acquire all-star Pascal Siakam in a deal that will send Bruce Brown, Jordan Nwora, and 3 first-round picks to the Toronto Raptors. New Orleans will be part of the deal as well, sending Kira Lewis to the Raptors. And then, Woj, 10 minutes ago, Indiana is sending 2 24 first-rounders, a 2026 first to the Raptors, sources said. New Orleans sends a second-round pick to Indiana. And we have Brandon Nunez, who is just in all sorts of – he's in a tornado right now with tweets trying to figure it out. So we have Frankie Cardicelli to get us started. Frankie, what are your first thoughts on this deal? Do you feel better now that you know how much it costs? And real quick, Woj, just a minute ago, Pascal Siakam now we're hearing two different things. Pascal Siakam is excited about the deal to the Pacers and is expected to be eager to work out a new contract with the franchise this summer. Sources tell ESPN Siakam can be a free agent in July. Well, things change once you really don't have a say, right? And we see this power play with different athletes all the time. And, hey, we want you to be here. We think we're building something special. This is a really exciting guy. You can still be a version of a number one because Halliburton is so pass-focused as well. So now I'll let you go, Frankie.
No, I mean, a lot of emotions, obviously. First and foremost, yes, the trade finally dropped, and we know that, hey, that's what it takes to get someone like Pascal Siakam, whether it's for 40 games, even more for the future. And as you just saw, which I think you kind of had that idea when the trade was made, if 3 firsts is what it's going to take, even if they're not all their first, that's a lot of draft compensation to give back. You must feel confident, and there must be some communication with Siakam's agency that he's open to staying in Indiana. We now are seeing that's true. But I'm looking at it this way as far as I think that's another aspect of why Siakam wanted to be in a place like Indiana versus Sacramento or another situation. He gets to be a clear number 2 now. Mm-hmm. He's a clear number 2 to Halliburton. Even maybe a 1 as far as how Tyrese sets up his teammates. He might be the leading scorer on that team.
We've seen him be passive before.
For sure. Like, I think Tyrese being more of a assist guy, which he already is one of the best passers in the NBA, but now you have a guy in Siakam who can go out there and get you 20 plus. I mean, that's going to be really good for Indiana. And again, it's something that kind of shows that Siakam at his point in his career, he's going to be 30 next season. He wants to be more of a guy in here in Sacramento. He would definitely be more of a 3, maybe 2-3 option and not a clear 1. Whereas in Indiana, he's up there with Tyrese. They can both be the leaders of that team and have a really good 2-man game as well.
Yeah, I mean, I just kind of brought up there. My initial reaction is this is a lot like the Kings making a move for Sabonis, where it's like, it's a lot to give up. But if you feel like as an organization, like you have an all-star caliber player and you want to get another one, those, as we've seen, those aren't easy to acquire. You got to give some things up. Do you kind of see it in the same way that this is Indiana almost looking and saying this kind of legitimizes us a little bit more and turns us into a team that's fun and scrappy into a team that, you actually probably have to take at least a little bit seriously, right?
Yeah. No, they needed like a guy, right? I mean, they needed like that other piece. I mean, it kind of the same argument with the Kings when they made the Sabonis trade and kind of where we are back right now as far as the Kings need another like go-getter, like another scorer, a bucket getter. They really didn't have that. I mean, Bruce Brown was, I think, a great get for them in the offseason. He's not really that kind of guy though to go get you 20 plus points a game. He's not someone that opposing teams and like worry about and game plan for it. And that's not a knock on Bruce Brown. Just he's not someone like Pascal Siakam who can be a nightmare in a variety of different ways. He can knock down the 3 ball when he's on. He has a 7-foot wingspan. He can be a lockdown defender when he's engaged. Just a guy that Indiana really, like you said, Chris, they needed a guy to kind of take him to that next step and have people take him seriously. Well, if you want someone to do that, Pascal Siakam is a great guy for it. And probably the biggest name on the trade market now comes off the board. So you have to wonder, how does that change teams' approaches on other big names that are going to be floated up there, like Zach LaVine's and down the line, Jeremy Grant, which we've seen today that there's reports that he probably won't be moved, but you never know. I mean, you never know. But right now we see what it takes to get a star talent, and it's a big haul for the Toronto Raptors.
Real quick too, what's crazy is Indiana's still got another move too. So like, I wouldn't be surprised if they're not still in on Zach LaVine. Like they still have Miles Turner and Buddy Hield, which, those guys are pretty much out the door. I mean, especially Buddy.
Miles Turner, huh?
They've been trying to move Miles Turner forever.
It kind of cooled off, though, I feel
Definitely,
like.
yeah. And maybe they like the fit with Pascal. Maybe they feel like that's a little bit more of a fit. But I would also say that if you didn't like the fit of Sabonis and Turner, how much did we hear in this Siakam, sweepstakes that, well, Siakam and Sabonis are a little redundant. So if they do a lot of the same things, I could see you running into the same problem still in Indiana. But I still think Indiana might have another move to make is where I'm going.
Another big name, and this is per Woj as well. The Jazz seem determined to continue building a roster around Lauri Markkanen long term. So that's another name. Is it actually off the board? Who knows? Right. But they want it to sound like it's off the board, which might be part of the marketing.
5 first, right? That's the asking price. I think it's starting at 5 first-round picks.
In this economy?
Yeah,
it's like, I don't know about that. But I definitely think that we'll see more movement this trade season. And obviously, that's the big one that has to come off. Yeah. Definitely Pascal Siakam.
Dude, that second first-round pick, too, I was trying to figure out, because you said Indiana sent 2 2024 first-round picks.
Yes.
I was trying to look at what that second one that they own. So they own their own 2024 pick. The other one is OKC, Houston, Clippers, or Utah. And I could break down the explanations, but it's way too long. So
it's a lot. It's a lot. How many first-round picks does OKC still have?
I'll look it up for you.
That's the team that people are talking about as far as Lauri Markkanen. If a trade was going to happen, the team that has the treasure chest to open up would be Oklahoma City, and that'd be the last thing I think a lot of Kings fans would want to see is Oklahoma or teams in the West. They want to see Lauri Markkanen joining the Oklahoma City Thunder without them having to give up too much.
I'm looking at it right now. Just this year, 2024, these are just first-round picks here. OKC has the Clippers with no protection. They have Houston 1 through 4 protected, Utah 1 through 10 protected. They don't have their own this year. In 2025, they have their own. They also have 4 first-round draft picks in 2025. But they have their own Houston or LA, Philly, Miami.
They have 3 this year, though.
They have 3 this year, 4 next year.
I feel like they're going to do something.
They're probably going to do something.
Entire rotation.
We got to get to a break. It's a question of what do they need? They don't have that true center. Right. So is it that? Is it a shooting guard? OKC is interesting because they have so many similar players. What exactly do they feel that they're missing? Got to get to a break. When we get back, we have an appearance, not live, but an appearance from Carmichael Dave, who had some things to say, and we react to the Pascal Siakam trade. Stiles and Watkins, Sactown Sports.
Can Mike Brown build on last season's Coach of the Year award? Can the Kings exceed 48 wins?
We will be better prepared to make the run that we expect to run come next playoff.
Tune into every Kings game this season on Sactown Sports and SactownSports.com.
Beachhead Deli on 711 K Street is now your place to go in downtown Sacramento prior to all the games, concerts, and events. Conveniently located just across the street from the arena, Beachhead Deli features the finest gourmet sandwiches and craft beverages anywhere. Beachhead Deli at 711 K Street is also your premier lunch destination 7 days a week. Come by and say hi to new owner Brad Wakai. He's so excited to take care of all your taste bud needs. That's Beachhead Deli at 711 K Street in Sacramento.
The Arnold Law Firm has seen how an injury can turn anyone's life upside down. Whether it's a slip and fall, a car accident, or any other kind of injury. For almost 50 years, the Arnold Law Firm has been here to help you through the entire process to protect you and your family. If you are ever injured or in an accident, call the Arnold Law Firm. The Arnold Law Firm, providing real justice for you since 1975. Call 916-777-7777. That's 916-777-7777.
Carmichael Dave here for Jiffy Lube, your proud sponsor of the Drive of the Game. Now listen to every Kings game for Gary Gerald's Drive of the Game call, then listen to Jason and myself the next morning for a chance to win a $100 Jiffy Lube certificate, courtesy of all the Jiffy Lube locations in the greater Sacramento area. Get your vehicle ready for the holiday driving season at Jiffy Lube today. Oil changes, wiper blades, tire rotations, and more. For more information, go to jiffylube.com.
It's no secret to golf enthusiasts that Timber Creek and Sierra Pines in Roseville are one of the region's most unique and scenic places to enjoy a great game of golf. 27 holes, boundless options. Elevate your game on our newly renovated driving range, putting green, and chipping area. Whether you're aiming for fun, lower scores, or all-around growth, we've got you covered. Experience golfing dreams in Roseville and book your tee time at timbercreekgc.com. Timber Creek and Sierra Pines, your ultimate golf haven.
I like daffodils, tulips, the big dinner plate dahlias. I loved being in the garden, but I wasn't going to be able to because I couldn't not only walk, but I couldn't really stand on my foot without being in pain. It was excruciating. So my husband said, let's go to the Good Feet store.
For over 20 years, we've helped people like Terry live the life they love without letting their feet get in the way.
This nice young man said, I think I can help you. He got the arch support and I was fitted. And I kept walking back and forth across the store. And I looked at my husband and burst into tears because it was the first time in a year that I have not had any pain in my foot. I have had no pain since the day I bought them. Now I can do whatever I want. There isn't any place on my property that doesn't have flowers blooming 365 days a year. I still can't believe it. My name is Terry, and that's my Good Feet story.
See what we can do for you with a free personalized arch support fitting at the Good Feet store.
For sore feet, aching back, knee, or hip pain, come to the Good Feet store in Sacramento, Roseville, or Vacaville.
Imagine taking a nice warm bath in your shower. Let's fix that. Right now, get that clogged drain unclogged for just $67. Plumbing, sewer, electric, heating, and air. Bonnie.com. Some restrictions apply. License 696355.
Frankie Cardicelli joins us. Sactown Sports Kings insiders here on Stiles and Watkins, reacting to Pascal Siakam out in Indy. And our own Carmichael Dave had some things to say, and I want to read this off to you guys. This was 11 minutes ago. See if you agree or disagree.
Probably disagree.
It appears Pascal Siakam chose the Pacers over the Kings, if all of the talks were true. Do you feel like that?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I think looking at this right now, and Mark Spears, to kind of piggyback off of Dave's tweet, Mark Spears does a lot of great work on ESPN. Says new Pacers forward Pascal Siakam has got off a phone call with Coach Rick Carlisle and President Kevin Pritchard. Siakam maintains his bird rights with the Pacers, who are expected to re-sign him in free agency. Appears doubtful that Siakam will debut for the Pacers tomorrow in Sacramento. It seems like he had eyes for Indiana. Like he clearly liked the situation. I'm sure he wanted to play for Rick Carlisle, liked his play style, likes the fact that Indiana's got that new kind of like the offense the Kings had last year. They run it, they gun it, they score a lot of points very quickly. He would fit in with that, I think, pretty well. Him and Tyrese Halliburton again get to form a good two-man game. So I don't know. I mean, it does seem like, again, just from what guys like from the Athletics said, from what others said, that Siakam was not open to re-signing with the Kings. And I think the Kings saw that and didn't want to leverage their future. Because, again, imagine the Kings made this deal and they gave up multiple first-round picks and then he leaves. Like Indiana, they gave up those first-round picks, but they're probably going to get to keep Pascal Siakam. So it kind of works out in that sense. I mean, I'm not sure if you guys agree, but does that make the deal worth it? If you're giving up 3 first-round picks but retaining Siakam, does that make this move worth it, in your opinion?
Yeah, but there were just so many contradicting stories out there, because then it was just yesterday, and that's why and Chris and I went on a bit of a rant yesterday just about all the sources and the murmurs and all this stuff, because the whole time it was Siakam saying he's going to test free agency. That just came out yesterday.
Right.
So that's why this Sacramento specific thing always threw me for a loop. Turns out I guess it was true. Ultimately, we'll never know. Maybe he just changed his mind.
Didn't you read earlier today, too, that Pascal had a statement, or his agent had a statement that said he was kind of thrown off by the fact that the Raptors were actively putting him in trade talk so much?
Yeah, it was from Michael Grange, who writes for Sportsnet in Canada. Right. And essentially, he was saying this was at like 1:13, I'm assuming their time.
Sure.
So maybe before it was officially done. And this is from the piece. Last week, Siakam was going to be traded to Sacramento. Last night, it was the Indiana Pacers. Eventually, it feels like a deal will be reached and Siakam will be gone, even if sources close to either side have allowed that there remains some possibility, however slim, of Siakam staying with the club. And yeah, it was basically just throughout it saying that Siakam just didn't understand why the Raptors didn't want to sign him to an extension. And I guess it just doesn't.
That makes me feel like it isn't a Kings specific thing. And the rumors or Pascal coming out and saying, I'm going to test free agency no matter what, to me sounds like he's trying to diminish his value to a point where Toronto would want to keep him. They'd say, I mean, they probably weren't expecting to get 3 first-round picks, even with the question mark. But to me, that says that Pascal is trying to stay in Toronto. And that's what I always thought his goal was I'm going to the place that I feel comfortable and they can pay me a ton, and really doesn't sound very desirable to go to a situation where it's brand new and I might not be paid. So
here you go. This is more from that piece from Michael Grange of Sportsnet Canada. Siakam's camp has never denied the substance of the report, but pushed back on the notion that the timing of it was calculated on their part, saying that it was the product of a previous conversation and it was a reporter who resurfaced it at a moment of his choosing. Regardless, by the time NBA Summer League rolled around, it was clear from various league sources Toronto was exploring trade opportunities, making the situation awkward enough that Siakam chose not to come to Las Vegas and train along with most of the Raptors' other returning veterans and meet the incoming rookies. Those close to him say he was both bewildered and heartbroken to varying degrees by the turn of events. So he wanted to stay, right? But wanting to stay, I guess, is separate to I guess he just felt like, you're not going to tell me where I get to go. I wanted to stay, and now you're just going to ship me off. And I guess basically Indiana was able to convince him to stay. And
I'm saying it was all a facade, is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I think it was all a front of, hey, don't trade for me or else. And then once the trade actually happened, he was like, you know what? I'd much rather get paid.
Yeah. I don't know how much of it is Pascal versus, I think it's both. I think it's Pascal and the question marks on his fit offensively. But then I also think it was the Kings not wanting to give all that up. Maybe it's a different conversation if the Kings, because I don't think they wanted to do 3.
Well, it's also like the contract situation, because again, as we talk about how much he's going to help Indiana, but I still don't know if he's a player that's worth $40 million a year, which is probably what he's going to want.
Yep.
And that's going to be another thing with Indiana, as far as they're kind of hamstring themselves as far as they're paying Tyrese Halliburton max money, which I think kicks in a year or 2. Miles Turner has a new contract. Like, they have guys that they're going to be paying a lot of money. And I think on Toronto's side, they probably didn't want to do that for the same reason. They don't want to commit $40 million a year for the next 3 or 4 or 5 years to Pascal Siakam, who's going to be 30 next year. They have a nice young core after the trade, especially from the OG Anunoby trade. Now they have Emmanuel Quickley, they have RJ Barrett, they have Scotty Barnes. They have guys that can kind of build around for that new core in the same timeline. And now they'll have some financial flexibility to do things they want to do. They don't have to worry about retaining a player who helped them get a championship, but clearly Masai Ujiri is moving on from that championship team. And that was the final piece, obviously.
Right.
Fred VanVleet leaves last year. The Raptors didn't want to pay him. We all know Kawhi Leonard probably wouldn't have re-signed anyway. He went to LA because he wanted to go home. And now Siakam's moved on the verge of getting a max deal. So I think a lot kind of goes into play. But if Indiana thinks this is their guy and they want to give him the money, I'm sure Siakam's going to welcome a team that wants to give him that money, because I think that's what was important to him, is getting that deal. So we'll see if it happens.
Can I just say, now that this is officially done too, I'm really glad Pascal's not coming to Sacramento. I really would have had to convince myself. It would have taken some convincing on my end. I didn't think it was the perfect fit. And to me, especially if that was going to be the price tag for him, I just think it would have, like, you're leaving yourself no other option at that point. Like, if you're the Kings and that Pascal move doesn't bring you to a conference title, or at least in the Western Conference Finals, then like, you're screwed. Like, you shift it all off. Right. Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you what, people change their minds. Okay. When is Halliburton back?
Maybe a week or 2.
Okay. Yeah. Hopefully he gets back soon. Pascal didn't sign nothing.
Nope.
He could still burn them.
Sure. Absolutely.
If this thing doesn't look good, the Pacers
Rick Carlisle's
could still get burned.
To play for.
Yeah, the Pacers could still get burned. This is not over just because. Oh, nowadays, Frankie, you know I love my college. I don't know why I said Frankie. Chris probably knows better than you do. But I committed. Right nowadays, these kids. I decommitted. Word of mouth is just that.
Kyrie, we all remember Kyrie Irving. We know multiple situations where he's told the fans and told.
Yeah. Shout out Boston.
I think it was a fan fest. Yeah,
it was.
I hope y'all will have me if I stay here. Nothing matters till pen's on paper.
No.
Or with the DeAndre Jordan, the Blake Griffin, DeAndre Jordan blocking the door thing. Like, there's nothing that is concrete until that pen is on paper, the physical is completed, and you are officially a part of the team. So, yeah, I think you're completely right, Alan. We don't know what's going to happen with Indiana. It can fall apart.
As of 11:51, Pascal Siakam is excited. That has nothing to do with how he feels at 11:52.
Right.
He could feel completely different from the 5-3-0.
Wait till he watches Buddy Hield highlights.
No, Buddy, he might be cooking now. The 5-3-0 saying Pascal coming tomorrow with a question mark. We don't believe he will be playing tomorrow.
He might be in the building, but he probably won't play.
Yeah, I would not imagine he'll be playing without getting a practice. He's in Toronto right now. They had a home game tonight. So
really?
Got to travel to California. That's going to be a process.
Right.
I can't imagine they roll him out without having a practice.
And you have now, when you look at the rest of the list, Lauri Markkanen, the Jazz are, according to Woj, not really trying to move him. According to Chris's wishful thinking, Jeremy Grant is not going to be moved either. So now, really, the discussion becomes what's next. And because of these breaking news, we haven't even got to have your thoughts, Frankie. Maybe it's good. Maybe, we can't talk about that terrible loss last night. We have to talk about Pascal Siakam, but do want to get your thoughts on that. But just roughly, just before the break, as we discuss who's left for the Kings, I mean, it's getting clearer and clearer by the moment that it's got to be Dorian Finney-Smith.
That's where you're at today?
That's where I'm at
Do you
today.
have a trade cooked up?
I'm just going with whatever Brendan said on his article. Whatever that was, just do that.
Definitely a guy that would help the Kings for sure. I mean, again, I'm sure we can talk more about it. Brendan should hopefully be here pretty soon, and he can give us his breakdown on it because I know he did write a piece about Dorian Finney-Smith. But, I mean, yeah, Brooklyn does have a lot of wings that should be on the move. I mean, at least a couple. And the Kings, again, like, I know the room for internal growth is possibly there. At least the organization might think that it's there. But I don't think you can stand completely pat. If you want to keep the majority of this group intact, sure. You don't want to mess with the chemistry. I get that. But whether it's some fringe rotational players or guys you can kind of throw in, obviously the Harrison Barnes spot in the starting lineup needs to be discussed at some point, whether it's moving Trey Lyles in, if that's the most minimal move that there is, you need more out of that spot. But if you're going to go get a player, Dorian Finney-Smith might be, again, like you said, top of the list, could be attainable. I think that they want a first-round pick for him, though. So, again, how tough of a pill is that to swallow? Because the Kings don't really, I think it goes to Atlanta this year, right? There's protection on it.
I think it's 14, top 14.
Top 14 protected. Yeah. I mean, there are some ways you can kind of get around that, but I'm not sure if that's a first round pick worthy acquisition, in my opinion, personally, but I'd like to kind of save those for something bigger. But if you can get them, get them.
What would you think about Bruce Brown? Potentially, if Bruce Brown were to be rerouted, I mean, the Kings clearly have had talks with Toronto. At least, there's that line of communications open. What if the Kings look at Bruce Brown and say, "I'm looking at it here. Bruce Brown has a $23 million team option for next season." Team option
He's
for
27.
next season. He's 27 years old. Won a championship last year. Was a really big piece of that Nuggets team. I mean, what if you say, hey, Harrison Barnes, who makes $17 million, and I don't know, could you do like a Harrison and Davion for Bruce Brown? Do you feel like that's maybe a move that would interest you, or is $23 million too much for a guy who's, I don't want to say a glorified role player, but essentially, I mean, he's a Swiss Army knife. If you will.
I mean, I think if that was a deal that was available, I'd be very intrigued because I think he would help the team. Again, the Swiss Army knife aspect is intriguing to me, and the fact that there's a team option also intriguing because if you do not love the fit or you want to, free up some money, you can do that. You can renounce his free agency rights and then you free up Harrison Barnes and obviously his contract where it would have been, then Bruce Brown's 20 million plus comes off the books too. So if that's an offer that's out there available, I'm very intrigued about that as well.
Got to get to a break just to put it in perspective here when we're talking timelines. RJ Barrett is 23, Emmanuel Quickley is 24, and Scotty Barnes is 22. So Bruce Brown being 27, does that really line up? Do they want the veteran and to pay the veteran that money? They got more younger guys coming in with all their picks. It feels like he might be just a smidge too old for what they're trying to do. And if it's not this year, they might be trying to move him next year. All right, got to get to a break. More of the Kings Roundtable here on Stiles and Watkins when we get back. And we're taking it back to the Kings. We'll continue to let people know as you hop in the chat, in the Sac chat, and tune in to us in your car, wherever you are, about Pascal Siakam. But this is Kings talk, and it's Bean talk, and it's the Kings Roundtable and what's going on with them. Stiles and Watkins, Sactown Sports.
Trying to find out where to catch your favorite team's games?
Are you a fan of the Kings, Niners, and the NFL? Well, Sactown Sports has you covered.
San Francisco! It's all on his shoulders. Fox rocks. He fires for the win. He's got the triple.
Catch all your Kings, Niners, and NFL games all year long on Sactown Sports and SactownSports.com.
Gas, groceries, utilities, you name it, the price of everything is going up. And if you're stuck in a bad timeshare with rising maintenance fees, the financial burden can be crushing. It is time to get your finances in order and get the real facts about that timeshare that you are stuck in and your options to get rid of it. Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group, has been helping families out of horrible timeshares for over 10 years and has put together a complete timeshare exit information kit that he will send you absolutely free. To date, over 30,000 families have trusted Wesley Financial Group to help them out of financial hardship by getting them out of bad timeshares. Get the facts about how the timeshare industry works and your options for cancellation. Simply call Wesley now for your free timeshare exit kit and see how you can become timeshare free. Call 800-462-3333. That's 800-462-3333. Once again, 800-462-3333.
Hello, Sacramento. I'm Emran Pilati, owner of True Sports Cards and Collectible Store here in Rockland, California, and the host of the True Sports Cards Show that airs right here on Sactown Sports 1140 every Saturday from 10 to 11 a.m., where we discuss the latest trends, hottest products, and deliver exclusive interviews with other industry leaders. And don't forget to visit our shop, True Sports Cards, at 6661 Stanford Ranch Road in Rockland and see what we have for all your sports card and memorabilia needs.
This is Monster Jam. Witness big air, two-wheel skills, backflips, and all-out racing. It's the only place to see the world's best drivers tear up the dirt in your favorite Monster Jam trucks like Gravedigger, El Toro Loco, Megalodon, and more. It's big-time fun for the whole family. Monster Jam, as big as it gets. Coming to Golden One Center, January 26th to the 28th. Brought to you by BKT Tires and Great Clips. Visit monsterjam.com today.
Hey everybody, it's Kyle Draper, your boy Drapes for Mercedes-Benz of Stockton. Now, if you've been on the fence about buying your first electric luxury car, it's time to get off the fence and go see my friends at Mercedes-Benz of Stockton. I'm challenging you. Test drive any Mercedes-Benz fully electric car or SUV, and you will fall in love. In fact, my new Mercedes-Benz EQS SUV is out in the parking lot right now. You know, I had a Tesla before this, but once I got the Mercedes-Benz EQS SUV, it felt like a brand new driving experience. It's on an entirely different level. Now, here's what I love about my EQS SUV. First of all, from the moment I sit in it, I feel like I'm stepping in a world of luxury. Plus, it's easy charging, and it has heated seats and cooling seats as well. It's an ultimate driving experience. I urge you, go see my friends at Mercedes-Benz of Stockton. They're just 30 minutes from Sacramento. They're right off of I-5. Or, of course, you can always go online at mbofstockton.com.
Got a drain that's clogged up? Or maybe a toilet? Or a faucet that just won't quit leaking? Kenny and Jerry here from Bell Brothers, and we want you to know that it does make a difference which plumber you call. At Bell Brothers, we respect your time by showing up when we say we'll be there. Our technicians are all background checked and drug tested, and will greet you with a smile. They're trained to do the job right the first time, and they carry over 1,000 parts on their trucks, so they won't have to order something and then come back later. They leave the work area cleaner than they found it, and your final bill will be the same as they quoted. That's why they call us the No Surprise Guys. So if you need a plumber, it does make a difference who you call. Call Bell Brothers. Our number is 916-444-1234 or find us online at thenosurpriseguys.com. That's 916-444-1234 or find us online at thenosurpriseguys.com.
The No Surprise Guys, Bell Brothers.
Guys, did you know your testosterone affects everything in your system, including how you feel and perform every day? Right now, Revive Men's Health Sacramento will check your testosterone for free. Knowing your T levels is the first step in understanding if you have low T. Your testosterone level impacts your energy, libido, sleep, weight, hair loss, mood, and even ED. Maintaining an appropriate T level can change your whole life. Most men start to see changes in their hormone levels in their 30s. Experience and results matter. So what are you waiting for? Get your T levels checked today by local, experienced, and trusted men's health experts. They've helped thousands of men since 2011. They're so confident they can help you, they even guarantee it. Call Revive today and schedule your free testosterone test, free exam, and free consultation. Call Revive Men's Health at 916-277-8599. That's 916-277-8599. Or visit revivemenshealth.com.
It's a myth to think you don't play golf well enough to get fitted for golf clubs. The professionals at the Hagen Oaks Player Performance Studio would argue that playing the game with golf clubs properly fitted to your body and swing characteristics is the best way to improve your game and have more fun on the golf course. With a professional staff of fitters, all the major brands of equipment, and cutting-edge technology featuring TrackMan, the indoor-outdoor Hagen Oaks Player Performance Studio is worth a look. See for yourself. Fulton Avenue at the Cap City Freeway. Schedule your fitting at 916-808-2531. 808-2531.
From the Power Business Technology Toshiba Studios.
KHTK-AM Sacramento, KYMX HD2 Sacramento.
Sacramento's official home for the San Francisco 49ers.
Touchdown! San Francisco!
Sactown Sports. Sactown Sports.
Check us out on YouTube. Search Sactown Sports and subscribe.
Kings Roundtable still rolling along, and we wanted to take a minute to send our thoughts out to Dejan Milojevic's family, who passed away from a heart attack, one of the assistant coaches for the Golden State Warriors. So wanted to send that out. And same to the Warriors family and everybody in that organization dealing with that loss. We have Brendan Nunez, who has joined the show, gracing us with his presence. Frankie Cardicelli's been rocking with us on Stiles and Watkins. Nate Littlefield doing a great job as well. And guys, it's going to get pretty spicy here. So I hope you're ready to go here. And I said something last night. I don't think it got interpreted perfectly well, because I think there's a difference between fans and the organization. And with Pascal Siakam being moved and a lot of these names that they're available, they're not available, you go back and forth with this. My thought process is, from a big picture perspective, if you are Vivek, right? Teams do not go, and we have somebody on the text line saying, I get a fan base being frustrated if their team is a first round exit for 4, 5, and 6 years in a row. But the Kings have had one playoff appearance since the Bush administration. Seeing Kings fans already crying is wild. And that's one take. A lot of the people responding to me last night did not have that take. And this is where things are going to get a little bit awkward here. If you are Vivek, right, the bottom line is it was a pretty low bar. So in your mind, you don't have to do anything hasty if you don't want to, because the Kings going to the playoffs this season is still a win. It might not feel like that if you are a 6 seed and get bounced in the first round, but this whole, well, they were a 3 seed last year, that doesn't really matter. Every year is different. The West is a mess. And I guess I'm saying that to just prepare Kings fans. Each day that passes, I said this to you guys on Monday, you did a heck of a job on your show, the Kings Insider Show. I don't think a big move is going to happen. Now, how small or how marginal of a move is going to happen may be, but they can get to the playoffs, and these Kings fans can be upset and cry and all this stuff, but y'all went 16 years without a playoff run, and everybody knows it. Ultimately, deep down, you're happy to be there. It's only the first year, right? It's only the second year of you now being competitive again.
I mean, I just say that I don't think progress of a team is always linear, and you can kind of just flirt around the same area for a little while before you end up taking that jump. And you need to be patient. You need to be picky. If we're talking about getting another player in here, if that's going to be the difference maker, it has to be the right guy, because it's much worse to feel like you're backed into a corner and you have to do something, and then you're acting out of desperation. You make the wrong move, and then the team could be stuck here for who knows how long, So I think the fact that they're not making them, or not that they're not, because we still don't know. We have plenty of time before the trade deadline, and obviously they're going to be aggressive in having conversations. But if it's not the right guy, that's a way worse outcome than just waiting for the correct player to eventually become available, however that be.
I mean, Monty McNair's they've proven already they will not be strong-armed into like making a rash decision, and they haven't yet. I mean, again, the Sabonis Halliburton trade I wouldn't even look at that as like a rash, like knee-jerk reaction. The Kings they weren't trying to make the playoffs. They made that trade. They were trying to set themselves up for the future, and it worked. I mean, it has worked. There are a million opinions on the Halliburton Sabonis trade, which will go on until the end of time, but we can't deny the fact that trade put the Sacramento Kings and Indiana Pacers both in a great position. The Kings and Pacers entering tomorrow's game. Same record. They're both in the playoff mix. The Kings made the playoffs last year. Tyrese Halliburton's a star. Domantas Sabonis should be an all-star again this year. He's done. He's performed well enough to put himself in that conversation again. It's worked out well. De'Aaron Fox, all that. And I think that losses like the past couple have been triggering. They've been painful. They've been more of annoying, like a nuisance and annoying than anything when you look at the fact that the Kings have looked really good. Again, like the Kings team that we all knew last year, the last 2 games, I've seen them. I don't know about you guys, but I've seen it. Like, they look great in Milwaukee coming out of the gates. They were dominating Phoenix last night. They really dominated 40 of the 48 minutes of that game last night. And I think if the Kings come out tomorrow night and they perform in a similar fashion against Indiana, it's going to ease some of those nerves. Now, that being said, I do think that the Kings need to make moves at some point. Maybe not this year, but I feel like this roster, where it is right now, it's not a polished product. It's not the final product of what this group is going to look like at its best, in my opinion. But to Brendan's point, I agree. They're not going to make any panic moves because they had a 22-point collapse. Is it embarrassing? Yeah. Should that happen? No. But it's not going to make Monty McNair scramble for his phone and start making phone calls. Like, that's just not what's going to happen.
The other thing I'll add real quick is that, like you pointed out, they played great a majority of that game. And the same thing we said for Milwaukee, right? The other day, Monday, we're having a conversation about, like, do you feel better? Do you feel good about that outcome or not so? And I said I felt good. Like, I feel like their offense has looked over these last couple games more like last year. But obviously, the collapse makes, like, that is an understandable focus. But I feel like there is an aspect of the offense has looked good recently for the most part.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's especially, like Frankie said, I mean, these last 2 games, it's felt like the most that it's felt like last year so far this season. And I think that's definitely a positive. I think the problem is, you're seeing new problems, honestly. Right. I mean, the turnovers yesterday, the fact that you can't seem to rely on De'Aaron in the clutch the same way you did last year. I mean, it seems like, kind of like you said, each year is its own individual entity, and it feels like we were banking too much on progression and consistency, continuity from last year, when in reality, that's just not how it works. Just because somebody did something last year does not guarantee that they're going to do something this year. And I think the Kings are really falling victim to a lot of that. A lot of guys who aren't performing to how well they played last year. And I think it's led to a lot of inconsistency of this year as well.
Yeah, I just think that they'll never say anything like that because you want fans to believe, and You're not going to buy tickets if you say, hey, this year, we just want to get to the playoffs again. Don't forget, you haven't been. Fans don't want to hear that. Fans want to keep progressing. But when people were kind of coming at me yesterday, I was looking at the Warriors' path. And the Warriors, that year before they went to the finals, what happened is they had went to the Western Conference Finals, lost to the Clippers, and then, if I'm not mistaken, the next year they lost in the first round to the Nuggets. Okay, then after that, I believe is when Steve Kerr came to town, and after that is when they came in and won the finals. Okay, if I'm not mistaken. So that was not necessarily it. How often does it actually happen? People like to think of teams like a job, right? Well, I came in as an associate. Now I'll be a senior associate. Now I'll become a manager. Now I'll become a senior manager. And that's not how it works in sports, right? Hey, you went to the playoffs. That doesn't mean, and we did beaming or dreaming because we were hopeful, but the West is a mess right now, and they're trying to figure these things out. So it's not, hey, we lost in the first round this season. Next season, we'll lose in the second round. That's not how it's going to happen. You might catch lightning in a bottle. Like I said, the Warriors won the finals a year after they lost in the first round. So you just don't know. You're just building a core, and hopefully, to be honest, you hit lightning in a bottle, and then you go from there. So I think that's how people kind of view it, and it would be great if it works like that. Look at Denver.
That's what I just pulled up,
and
actually.
There's injuries too. Let's hear it.
Yeah, you look at 17-18, they won 46 games. I think that's the year that they lost to Minnesota in the last game of the season that would have got them in the playoffs. And then the next season, they lose in Western Conference semis, 54 wins. So some linear progress there, right? I guess you could call it. The year after, 46 wins, and they snuck their way to the Western Conference Finals. I think they played two teams that maybe weren't great. That was a little bit of a weird year when it comes to that one. But you go from Western Conference Finals to then the next year, you won one more game. You go from 46 to 47, and then you lost in the semis. The year after that, they lost in the first round, 48 games they won, and then they win the championship.
Yep.
Like similar to what you're pointing out with Golden State. This is just not linear. And I think my response to the they're not going to say this year that, we just want to make the playoffs this year. I don't think it's about this year. It's about what is the eventual path to a championship. And if it means that just being patient this year, like we talked about, then if they think that's the best way to go, why not?
Yeah. Got to get to a break. When we get back, continuing this conversation, and we're going to get put on the spot here. And Frankie is looking at me because he knows
You
it's
said
going down.
we're going to get put on.
Chris,
How
you
can
already know.
say
Chris,
that
you already
we're-
know. You already know. But the two of you are
smell
getting
the cooking.
Oh yeah, can you smell what Stiles and Watkins are cooking? Stiles and Watkins, Sactown Sports.
Started left, goes right, steps back, launches the three. Nothing but net. Oh, that was just filthy. Oh, my, that was sweet.
Sactown Sports is your proud home of the Sacramento Kings. What's up? We're talking to Chad Hoblet of Hoblet Dodge, Chrysler, Jeep, Ram, and Woodland. Well, it's a new year, so the big question is what's happening at Hoblet for Chrysler's Start Something New sales event?
Sadly, the end of an era is here. Dodge has stopped making the classic gas-powered Charger and Challenger, so this is your last chance to get your hands on some American muscle with that iconic V8 power. And now is the best time to buy because you can get up to $7,000 off MSRP and 0% financing for 72 months on new 2023 Dodge Charger SXT and Challenger GT.
Yeah, that's one of those things you hope they wouldn't do. Truly is the end of an era.
Yeah, and that means when they're gone, they're gone.
See their full selection when you search, select, and save at HobletDodge.com. Unbeatable prices, unbeatable selection. Nobody beats Hoblet, period.
7,000 total net savings after 6,500 dealer discount and 500 factor rebate. Includes 500 first responder cash. Must be member of qualifying first responder program. Plus 0% financing for 72 months on approved credit through Chrysler Capital. 700 plus FICO score required. $13.89 per thousand borrowed and no payments for 90 days. 5 at this net savings. Sample VIN 648404.
Capital Casino, conveniently located on 411 North 16th Street in downtown Sacramento.
Sactown Sports.
Call or text at 916-339-1140.
Not only are you getting the normal Kings Roundtable, we gave you an emergency roundtable on Monday. And Frankie Cardicelli just says to me, and Brendan agreed, we're getting a bonus segment. We have 2 more segments of the Kings Roundtable breaking down all things Pascal Siakam and the collapse of the Sacramento Kings. Hey, guys, I don't know if you saw this one. I've only said it about 12 times on the show today. So here it goes for 13 because I cannot say it enough. And Chris already knows where I'm going with this. Teams facing deficits of 22 or more in the fourth were 0 in 1,244.
Oh.
Since August 23rd, 2020. 0 in 1,244 games.
Kings, there's always got to be one.
That's
Play like a champion today.
But Chris, you were in the building for that D'Angelo Russell
Sure was.
Nets game.
Yep.
Did that
Yeah.
I think being in person, it's a way different feeling, but was that a similar just avalanche of just misfortune for the Kings where they have a 20-plus point lead and they just lose it over 8 minutes?
This one felt faster. And maybe it's because of the turnovers and the block shots, but it just felt like things snowballed really quickly. Like by the time HB got called for that moving screen, you could kind of feel the energy in Club Phoenix, as Steve Kerr would call it. It really started to get loud in there. They started pumping up the acoustics a bit. And you really felt the momentum at that point. And that's kind of when I was like, this thing is going downhill fast. And then you have KD on the other side starts splashing things, and it's like, you can see where this movie's going.
I thought that they would make it respectable, and the Suns would say, man, if we had played like this to start, we would have got the W. I didn't think they'd actually pull it off until basically they pulled it off. And once it was in the range of, all right, KD can take over, once you were within the 2 possessions, that's when it became a problem. All right, guys, I'm just going to say it. And Chris and I discussed more, but we want to speak with our guys here. Brendan Nunes, are you 100% sure, and you don't have to say 100, how sure are you that De'Aaron Fox is a franchise 1A player for a championship team?
I'm like 90% sure. Like, I think that's been my biggest development this year.
Frankie,
really.
How sure are you?
I'd match that 90 or even like 90. If he's knocking down threes like he has been this year, that was the last part of his game that needed to be reached. If this is real, yeah, I think he absolutely is.
I don't. I'm not that high. I mean, I think the rest of this season is figuring that out. And maybe that's just my opinion personally, but I got to see more, man. If you look at the list, and Chris and I were going through the list of just really good players in the NBA, we were going through the list when
one through.
When the breaking news broke. By the way, if you're just now tuning in, Pascal Siakam to the Pacers, Bruce Brown, and 3 picks. Yeah, 3 picks to the Toronto Raptors, because that is what I'm struggling with here. And really only because De'Aaron is our guy, okay? And he is the franchise player. And I just felt like after a collapse like last night, everybody has been on the chopping block in some degree, whether it's Sabonis, Coach Mike Brown, the hot seat, right? And just De'Aaron hasn't been on it at all. And I just felt like it was only right to have that conversation, because I don't really know how many 1A franchise guys there are on a championship team, right? Are we? And then that becomes a question of where that line is. Is De'Aaron one of, or are there 20 in the league? I don't know.
Probably not even.
Probably not.
So, okay, are there 15?
I think this becomes the question of what is elite?
Right.
Like how many people, I think everybody's got their own definition. Everyone's got their own, I can only have 6 elite, or if you have 10 elite, then who truly is elite? Mm-hmm. Like, is there elite of elite? Is there levels to eliteness? Like, I think it kind of gets into a dangerous, slippery slope there. But I mean, yeah, I think that, to answer your question, I would say I'm definitely less than these two, but I feel like De'Aaron Fox can be a guy. I'm not 100% sure he is. And I think for me, next year is when I'm going to get an official answer on that. I think the fact that we saw this year the level he's able to get to, but I think right now, I mean, I have his last 10 games since December 31st, 10-game sample size, 22 points per game, 4.7 assists, 42% from the field, 37% from 3. That's a big enough sample size for me to tell, like, it's really hard to be a 30-point per game scorer in the NBA. It's really, really hard, because every single night you've gotten, no matter if you're winning, if you're losing, getting blown out, blowing out another team, to have to get to 30 points just about every single night is really, really tough. And I think De'Aaron's learning about the fatigue aspect of that. Like it takes a certain level of conditioning to be able to play at that level for an entire 82-game season. So that's why I say next year is when I'll get the official answer to it. But I think we saw this year how high the ceiling goes.
Yeah, my problem with putting De'Aaron in that category, and again, so much is on this season, is just from looking at past champions. Right, he's not in the same category as any of the best.
Well, that's
players.
Where
there's like 5 guys in the league
that's
like by themselves.
Well, to win a championship, that's where this conversation stems from. Is you got to be, again, like, let's think of the last champions here. We have Steph Curry, we have Giannis, we've got Jokic, we've got LeBron, Kawhi. I mean, just think about NBA titles in history. I mean, it's Tim Duncan, it's Kobe, it's
and I'm not saying to make a move or anything like that. I'm just trying to put it all into perspective.
I'm trying to support
because
your
De'Aaron
argument.
has been in this conversation of, we know you guys are at 90%. I can't look. I'm not saying to move on. I'm saying we got to see how this season ends, right, and really decide what this thing is going to look like. And if we want to open it up to beyond just De'Aaron.
Right.
The question is De'Aaron and Sabonis a good enough 1-2? That's another way to look at this thing.
Sure.
Because I don't know that either.
Well, so I have two things I'll say on the De'Aaron front is that you don't really have a choice but to believe in it, in my mind.
I agree.
It's
I'm not
so
saying get rid of him.
insanely difficult to go and get another one of those guys. And also, he's 26.
They're all old.
Are we seeing the best version of De'Aaron Fox right now? Like, he's gotten better, significantly better over the last 2 years. And I think there's reason to believe he could keep getting better. Like you're saying, he's getting used to putting up 30 a night and the conditioning that comes with while doing pretty good on the defensive end, I think, more often than not. And he could just continue to get better. This guy's 26.
Yeah.
You know, I don't think we're seeing the best version of De'Aaron Fox yet. So 2 years down the line, maybe we feel better about him flirting with MVP ballots, you know?
Yeah.
Outside of Jokic, who will be 30, I think next season, all the guys we just named are like 35,
not Giannis,
34,
not Luka, who doesn't have one
not
yet.
Luka,
Tatum,
true.
I guess.
Not
True.
Anthony
Again,
Edwards, who's on the up. Not Shai Gilgeous-Alexander.
But as far as like recent champions,
I think he's in that tier, though.
There's a couple of different conversations.
I would say
right?
I don't think.
There's the champions who, sure, with Steph and LeBron, probably not a fair comparison. Then there's the conversation that Chris just brought up, the new wave. Okay, the new wave of guys that you feel could be that guy. You guys are putting Fox into that conversation of the Lukas and I guess the Jason Tatums, if you will.
Anthony Edwards.
The Anthony Edwards.
For
Is
sure.
Fox in that category? Shea. I don't know how. Well, we know how people will vote because nobody votes for the Kings for the All-Star, so they're not voting at all. But I think that you ask 10 people that 10 hoop heads, you're going to get probably 10 different answers.
Yeah, and he's probably at the bottom of that list, you
Yeah.
know? Like, he's not Tatum. He's not Luka.
National people aren't taking De'Aaron over Shea either.
I don't think so, but I
you got
think
30
that there's
points
a
per game,
conversation.
and you have leading the league in
For
steals
sure.
with Shea.
For sure.
I don't think many national people
They're
are taking
the
De'Aaron.
1 seed, right? 1 or 2 seed, right?
2 seed,
Right.
yeah.
I think that's fair, but I don't know that, like, down the line, if that stays the same way. Like, I just...
Right.
Things are fluid. For
That's
sure.
right.
People get hurt, situations change.
What we've learned, but I guess, what we've learned from you, Brendan, is this thing, and what we've kind of discussed is this thing is it's a process, right? We're not going to say trust the process, but it's a process, and it's not happening this year, regardless if they go get somebody. Most likely, it's not happening this year. The question becomes, at what point is it, all right, guys, right? I don't think they've done enough for, like the texter said, this isn't the 4th year that they've lost in the first round, right? It's only the first year coming off a playoff run. So expectations, maybe we're just a little bit high to start.
Definitely. All offseason, when people would ask us, what should the Kings do? I feel like most of us said they probably won't be a 3 seed, but that doesn't necessarily mean they won't be a better team, in terms of building towards a champion. And I think pretty much universally, we all saw a lot of people say, what are you talking about? How can you not? I think even Kyle Draper yelled in my face, how can you not get better? It's about getting better. And I don't think that that's true.
Yeah. And nobody saw this coming. Well, I think we all saw the Thunder getting better, but not necessarily this, although that's the only team. Hopefully the Kings get the Thunder in the playoffs. That's the only team they can beat at this point in time. All right, got to get to a break. When we get back, getting Brendan's thoughts on the Pascal Siakam trade and who should we look at next for the Kings. You know I want Dorian Finney-Smith. Stiles Watkins, Sactown Sports.
The NFL's leading rusher plays here.
Got a handoff to McCaffrey, walks in the end zone. Handoff to McCaffrey, takes it right down to the goal line. He does his thing again. McCaffrey goes in motion right. Backwards pass led by Juszczyk. A block there. Hurdles a man. 10, 5, touchdown! CMC!
You can hear all of Christian McCaffrey's touchdowns on your home for 49ers football. Sactown Sports.
With RT Painting, our name says it all. We are a reliable and trusted commercial and residential painting company serving the Sacramento area since 1998. Employee-owned, our attention to detail is second to none. Put our decades of experience serving our community to use for you. Get a free quote today. Call us at 916-900-8112. That's 916-900-8112. Or go online to rtpainting.com. That's rtpainting.com. RT Painting, your trusted and reliable painting contractor of choice.
Sacramento's premier music festival, Country in the Park, is back. 2 big ol' nights, May 17th and 18th at Cal Expo with Brantley Gilbert, Dustin Lynch, Walker Hayes, and more. 2-day GA tickets are on sale now starting at $85, or upgrade your experience with VIP or pit passes. Country in the Park, May 17th and 18th at Cal Expo. For more information, visit CITBfest.com. Brought to you by Oak Ridge Winery.
Big savings are back at Folsom Lake Honda, your one-stop Honda shop. Looking to own or lease? We have options for everyone. Plus, lower interest rates at Folsom Lake Honda make for lower payments. It's no wonder Folsom Lake Honda is your one-stop Honda shop. Get an instant cash offer for your trade at FolsomLakeHonda.com. We'll buy your car whether you buy from us or not. Visit us today at FolsomLakeHonda.com.
Folsom Lake Honda, yeah, your one-stop Honda shop.
When accidents turn life upside down, AutoAccident.com is in your corner. Compassionate advice, loyal support, and the courage to fight for you. AutoAccident.com. That's AutoAccident.com.
Winter is coming. I know you know that, but are you prepared to keep your family warm all season long? At American Energy Heating and Air, their goal is to exceed your expectations of the heating and air industry by valuing the customer experience and making your home comfort system as efficient as possible for the most value. So book your $49 furnace tune-up and safety inspection today. Prevent dangerous gas leaks. Extend the life of that furnace and save on your energy bills. And here's the guarantee. This isn't a sales call. They're not getting in the door so they can try to sell you a bunch of stuff. No, they're just going to do what they say they're going to do. Call today to schedule an appointment at 916-520-9990 or go to AmericanEnergyAir.com. Been serving the greater Sacramento area since 1981. A-plus Better Business Bureau rating. Get your $49 furnace tune-up and safety inspection today. 916-520-9990. American Energy, making the uncomfortable comfortable.
Plantar fasciitis feels like pointed, sharp pain, very intense. It can make your eyes water. It makes you walk funny because you're trying to get pressure off your heel. I had instability. I was so frustrated. I didn't know what to do. And I was driving past the Good Feet store. I mean, why not? Give it a try.
For over 20 years, we've been helping people like Teresa actually live the life they love without their feet getting in the way.
They wanted to make sure they fitted me with the right thing. And so they brought out several different arch supports and gave me the opportunity to try them in shoes and walk around with them until they found the perfect ones for my feet. I had no idea that they would be that patient, and I had no idea they would be that kind. And you just knew, like, your feet, just when they got on the right ones, they were like, oh yeah. And it really did make a big difference. It made my foot not hurt. I'm Teresa, and that's my Good Feet story.
See what we can do for you with a free personalized arch support fitting at the Good Feet store.
Visit the Good Feet store in Sacramento, Roseville, and Vacaville.
Kevin Lewis of National Garage Door. Whether you need to repair a broken spring, install a new opener, or buy a quality Rainer door, National Garage Door is here for you. Call us today to see how we can transform your house with a new garage door.
638-4554 National Garage Door.
The Sacramento Sports Hall of Fame induction celebration is back Sunday, February 4th at the brand new venue at Thunder Valley Casino Resort. Join us as we induct the class of 2024. NBA champion Matt Barnes, All-Star James Donaldson, Major League Baseball's Nick Johnson and Leon Lee, and world champion triathlete Jamie Whitmore. Get your tickets now at Ticketmaster.com. For all info, go to SacSportsHOF.com.
Hi, this is Dusty Baker, proud member of the Sacramento Sports Hall of Fame. You have to be there to see it at Thunder Valley Casino.
Live and local. Live and local. This is Sactown Sports.
Sometimes you laugh and sometimes you cry.
Oh,
I think we did both last night, watching the Kings collapse to the Phoenix Suns. Sactown Sports Kings Insiders joining us for a bonus segment as Stiles and Watkins takes you up to 2 p.m. Nate Littlefield doing his thing behind the glass as always, and wanting to reopen the conversation on Pascal Siakam. Brendan, you saw it come down. There are some comparisons saying, hey, did this mean that Pascal chose Indiana over Sacramento. That was from our own Carmichael Dave. What was your kind of first feeling when you saw that the news finally broke?
Yeah, I guess probably a little bit of relief, honestly, just get to be done with that conversation. I feel like it's all anybody's been talking about, and that's understandable. He's a really good player. I think that he would have been a great fit in Sacramento. I think he makes a lot of sense for Indiana too, but obviously the details of this potential package had been out there for a couple days. I guess it was primarily yesterday, right, that it really came out, but 3 first-round picks, like, you got to feel pretty good about re-signing this guy, I guess. They have to have some reason to feel like they can either convince him or that he will be open to signing. And you'd have to think that they also are willing to give him that ridiculous contract. And yeah, I mean, coming out that it's the 2024 Indy first, protected 1 to 3 that's something that not many other teams were going to be able to beat that. I feel like Indy's doing okay this year when it comes to the standings, but that's pretty intriguing, and the same with their 2026 first. Like, these are very light protections on these picks, where that one's 1 to 4 and like I mentioned, 1 to 3 on the 2024 first. So, I think it makes sense definitely from Toronto's side.
Yeah.
I would pull the trigger on that very easily. And it's an interesting trio, I guess, in Indiana. It does feel like they're trying to accelerate the timeline a little bit, though.
Yeah, is that a big 3 per se? I think you'd
Who's
have
their
to say
5?
yes.
Like, who is their 5 guy? Like, if who's their death lineup?
Yeah, probably Tyrese, obviously,
Right.
And then Siakam and Miles Turner, and I'd
Either
say
Nembhard or Mathurin.
Mathurin, probably, right?
Mathurin
and
for sure.
Even like Neesmith
Neesmith,
kind of
I think
turned into a
he's
good 3-and-D player.
I think he's their
Nembhard's
starting
good.
three.
Based
I'm
on
pretty
these
sure.
numbers, it would be either Neesmith or Obi Toppin.
Well, and they still have the
Nembhard.
assets to get more if they
Right.
want to
forget
down the line.
TJ McConnell.
You're forgetting about a big part of their big 3 in their equation, guys. Buddy Hield's on that roster.
That's right.
I said earlier, I'm shocked when I saw salary filler in the pre-trade details. I was like, that's just coded language for Buddy Hield.
See you later.
And it ended up being Jordan Nwora. So shout out
Yeah.
Buddy Hield, who continues to cockroach over there in Indy.
By the way, if you're just now joining us, Pascal Siakam is an Indiana Pacer. He is headed to Indiana to join Tyrese Halliburton and Miles Turner as the Raptors get back 3 first-round picks and Bruce Brown. This is from Woj an hour ago. Pascal Siakam is excited about the deal to the Pacers and expected to be eager is crazy to me. Expected to be eager to work out a new contract with the franchise this summer. Sources tell ESPN Siakam can be a free agent in July.
What does that even mean?
It'd be so funny if the reporting was just like, "Oh, he's not happy about this
Right,
at all."
exactly.
Expected
It doesn't
to be
mean
eager.
anything.
I
Expect
to enjoy my dinner I'm going to have.
Yeah.
I mean, but what if it's not great?
What if it's not great?
I'm going to get some Mongolian barbecue.
It's a gamble, man.
It's going to be good. I'm very excited about it.
I think it reminds me almost of when Morey held on to Simmons forever, and everybody's like, "Gosh, you're ruining the value. You're not going to get anything good. You've waited too long. His value's in the gutter," and he turned it into James Harden.
Right.
And Masai held on to Pascal Siakam for a very long time, to pretty much the last moment that you could without taking it all the way to the deadline. And he turned him into 3 first-round picks.
Yeah.
Another lesson of just takes one. That's
Just
it, man.
takes one.
It just takes one to throw out a crazy deal. And that's what all of these, that's what Portland waited for as well. Like, if you hold out, I mean, it's shown that you'll eventually get the deal. People at the end of the day are a lot more desperate to get stars than to just wait and sit around. And that's why, I mean, that really just kind of brings up the Kings situation, but it's definitely another case in the, you just wait it out and somebody's going to throw something. Someone's going to get desperate. You just got to wait long enough.
Yeah. And, on the text line from the 916, a lot of comparisons. This texter saying, hey, we should just enjoy where we are compared to where we were. I do think that, is it a crazy statement to say that maybe this season could be good for Kings fans to recalibrate reality, right? You have not gone to the playoffs in 16 years. Then you wake up one day and you're a 3 seed and you're playing the Warriors. You get to game 7. Did it maybe make Kings fans think that, you would probably say that, okay, maybe they were a little ahead of schedule last season. And I think that's might be part of the reason there's nowhere left to go but up from here. Whereas it's not like if the Kings had snuck into the playoffs, didn't have home court, still lost in 7 games, I think that the feeling would be more like this 9-1-6 versus how we're seeing a lot of people like, you got to go now, you got to keep getting better, you got to do this, you got to do that. They came out of nowhere last season and I think surprised a lot of people, and now people think it's the norm when it's just really hard to win basketball games in the NBA.
I think like last year was a matter of, and I don't want to equate it like spot on with what the Giants did, the San Francisco Giants did in 2021, but kind of like how they needed everything to kind of go right. And like a lot of players overperformed and they just were this great story and it was really fun to follow and be a part of. The Kings are kind of like that too, in a way, because they had a bunch of guys have career years.
Yeah,
like,
we had a caller compare them as well.
Yeah, and it's kind of similar. And like, I will say this, the Kings are not dropping off like how the 2022 or 23 Giants were. The Kings are still a good team. And again, they're ahead of where they were last year from a win-loss standpoint, but the rest of the West got better too. But I think it's just a matter of the other guys that were playing really well last year. They aren't doing as much. Like Kevin Huerter's had a rough start to the year so far. Harrison Barnes has taken a step back. Keegan Murray shook off a rough start and he's taken that step forward, but the Kings aren't getting as much from those other pieces, which is why I'm kind of looking at not really a big significant move that might happen, but some around the edges moves, because maybe the guys that they have aren't essentially the perfect fit for what this team needs to be, where this team needs to be at its peak. And I think that last year did kind of heighten expectations, but the Kings are still really in a good spot. They are a half game back from the 5 spot. They've had some horrible losses the past couple of nights that really kind of put a blemish on the fact that they played well. I mean, their last 2 games, again, just talking about where they were last year, the last 2 games kind of mirror that. Last 2 games for the Kings, 129.5 points per game, 51% from the field, 43 from 3, 34 assists, and only 11 turnovers. Like, they're playing some really good basketball, but it's those late game situations. And again, up by 4 with 18 seconds at the free throw line of Milwaukee, you lose. Up by 22 with 8 minutes left in Phoenix, you lose. These are late game execution problems that a lot of winning teams like Milwaukee, who has won a championship, like Phoenix, who's been to the finals, which not really with this core, but they have guys like Kevin Durant, Devin Booker, Bradley Beal, guys that have been in the league for a long time. The Kings are still kind of getting used to that. They don't have guys like that with that much experience outside of Harrison Barnes and JaVale McGee. Like, they don't have guys that have been there. And yes, I use those 2 names, everybody. I use those 2 names because that's what the Kings have as far as experience on their team. So
champions.
I don't think the sky is falling. Before we go, like, my parting thought is, I don't think the sky is falling. If the Kings are in a good spot, are they a perfect product? No, but I don't think it's time to hit the panic alarm by any means.
Yeah, before you guys get out of here, I'm thinking about the trade market right now, and it's very similar to the housing market. I know I'm the oldest one in this round table, so obviously I'm going to take it there, because whether it's a market for sellers or a market for buyers, in the NBA right now, it seems like it is a market for sellers, right? And do you truly think the Kings are going to make a move? Because right now it just seems like the price tag is too crazy. And I don't know if we want to blame the Timberwolves because they started this Pandora's box with the 5 first rounders. But now, like, I mean, I like Dorian Finney-Smith, but if who isn't worth a first rounder at this point in time that's worth anything? So that is another reason I feel like, because, people are seeing DeJounte Murray. That's clearly going to be a first rounder. Everybody is a first rounder. Yeah. Do you think that maybe the current NBA market, with it being a seller's market, might hinder the Kings from doing anything significant? Because everybody's looking for those first round picks.
Yeah, it takes some separation, right? Like, the existence of the play-in and the way it's been embraced, I think, makes a lot less sellers, which obviously makes the ones that are selling a lot more valuable or more sought after, because it shortens the market, really, to your point. So I think that's definitely the case, but we also could see, as you get closer to the deadline, is when teams really decide, okay, what is our direction this year? Are we going to be sellers? There could be new ones that emerge. Indiana or Toronto could, I don't know the exact timeline on how long they have to wait, but like, there could be Bruce Brown conversations eventually again, and maybe they don't have enough time before they're allowed to do that at this deadline. But next year, like, you never know who is going to end up being a seller. I feel like often right before the deadline, it's like, what, they're making this guy available, and that kind of changes the market. And I think that's another reason that the Kings could wait for a guy like that. Like, if you don't love a Zach LaVine, if you don't love Lauri Markkanen for the prices considered, or a DeJounte Murray, then kind of like I was saying earlier, don't force it. I don't think that they're in a spot where they need to feel like their back's against the wall. All these guys are locked up except Malik Monk for like 3+ years. So you can be a little bit patient as long as the locker room is okay with that and there's no internal issues.
Yeah. Frankie, you think they do anything?
Again, I think the moves that they make, if any, will be not moves like the Pascal Siakam move. Again, that might be moves that are, again, I'm just naming examples, but like Malcolm Brogdon's or again, like a Bruce Brown or guys
Dorian Finney-Smith.
No, sure. No, again, like
even just a Torrey Craig.
Yes.
Royce O'Neal,
Right.
guys that can come in and plug the holes that you need to like have fixed. Like as far as
Marcus Morris Sr.
Marcus, I don't know about that. How much is he making again? He's making like 18 or
17 mil. Or
That's.
something
I'm
like
sorry.
that.
You can't resonate that with me. I'm sorry. I don't care.
He played well.
That's fine.
When?
Who didn't on Friday?
That's fine.
For Boston back when?
I'm talking about
The
against
Clippers?
the Sixers.
Oh, okay.
All right.
6.
Thanks, guys. I know you got to get to Kings practice. Be sure to follow Brandon and Frankie on social media. We will have any updates and really interested in any sound that comes out from today's practice with Pascal being moved, the Kings coming off that L. Obviously, hearing that De'Aaron didn't speak to media after the game last night. How's he feeling now as they move forward, try to get back on the winning track with some home cooking tomorrow night against the Pacers? Thank you to the Kings, the Sactown Sports Kings insiders, Frankie and Brendan.
Thank you for having us. We'll see you at the media dining table tomorrow.
Well, you will see me there and keep my oatmeal cookie warm. Stiles and Watkins, Sactown Sports.
The 49ers earned the NFC's top seed.
On the first play of the game, CMC Dynamite!
Join all of our shows. The Carmichael Dave Show with Jason Ross, Stiles, and Watkins. And the Drive Guys as they follow their quest for a 6th Super Bowl title.
Pressured right away by Young and sacked by Eric Armstead.
Sactown Sports is your home for San Francisco 49ers football.
San Francisco!
Denise has been playing jazz for 40 years. Last concert, one of the musicians fell sick with RSV. Respiratory syncytial virus, or RSV, is a highly contagious virus that can lead to breathing problems. This time, she's choosing to help protect herself with Pfizer's RSV vaccine, Abrysvo. Abrysvo is a vaccine for the prevention of lower respiratory tract disease caused by respiratory syncytial virus, RSV, in adults 60 years of age and older. Abrysvo is not for everyone and may not protect all who receive the vaccine. Don't get Abrysvo if you've had a severe allergic reaction to its ingredients. People with a weakened immune system may have a decreased response to Abrysvo. The most common side effects are tiredness, headache, pain at the injection site, and muscle pain. Ask your pharmacist or doctor about Pfizer's RSV vaccine, Abrysvo, respiratory syncytial virus vaccine. For full prescribing information, please call 1-844-989-7284 or visit abrysvo.com. Brought to you by Pfizer.
God, I'm so stressed. It's a brand new year and our business is busier than ever.
Uma.
What is that? Meditation?
I'm recommending the Uma cloud phone system with auto attendant and more than 35 features.
Uma?
Yep. Switching to Uma is a cinch. Starts at $19.95 per month per user, plus taxes and fees.
Uma.
Now you're feeling it. Visit Uma.com. That's OOMA.com to learn more. Uma. Smart communications for the smarter business.
The possibility of lung cancer can be pretty scary, especially if you're one of approximately 8 million current or former smokers at high risk. That's why SaveByTheScan.org wants you to know that now there's a breakthrough low-dose CT scan that can detect lung cancer early, and it only takes 60 seconds. You stop smoking. Now start screening. For an easy quiz to see if you're eligible, visit SaveByTheScan.org. It could save your life. SaveByTheScan.org is brought to you by the American Lung Association's Lung Force Initiative and the Ad Council.
I remember as if it were yesterday. I reached down to move a nightstand and was astonished at the weight of the piece. Hi, this is Frank LaRosa with a word about Naturewood Home Furnishings. At that moment, I instantly recognized the difference between Naturewood's quality furniture that will last a lifetime versus lesser quality furniture found elsewhere. Now, I suppose there's a huge difference in what you'd put in your first apartment and what you would live with in the comfort of your own home. Right now, Naturewood Home Furnishings Made in USA sale is a great time to fill your home with solid, superior quality furniture to reflect your own love for life. With brands like Sam Moore, Stanton, Stickley, Hilltop Hickory, Simply Amish, and many more, Naturewood Home Furnishings has tables, chairs, couches, and, yes, nightstands, and more at their Made in USA sale. Find furniture that will be with you forever. Naturewood Home Furnishings off Highway 50 at Hazel, Look for the water wheel.
Awesome. Hey, babe, can you check the front door? My package is here.
Yeah, on it. Hey, are we still watching our show tonight?
New episode on Prime? You bet. That reminds me, let's hit Whole Foods this afternoon. We need snack supplies.
From package deliveries to entertainment and even fresh groceries, Amazon is in front of thousands of customers every single day. Learn how you can leverage their reach for your business. Text digital to 916-766-5105 now. Make the smart move. Text digital to 916-766-5105.
Guys, did you know your testosterone affects everything in your system, including how you feel and perform every day? Right now, Revive Men's Health Sacramento will check your testosterone for free. Knowing your T levels is the first step in understanding if you have low T. Your testosterone level impacts your energy, libido, sleep, weight, hair loss, mood, and even ED. Maintaining an appropriate T level can change your whole life. Most men start to see changes in their hormone levels in their 30s. Experience and results matter. So what are you waiting for? Get your T levels checked today by local, experienced, and trusted men's health experts. They've helped thousands of men since 2011. They're so confident they can help you, they even guarantee it. Call Revive today and schedule your free testosterone test, free exam, and free consultation. Call Revive Men's Health at 916-277-8599. That's 916-277-8599. Or visit revivemenshealth.com.
No one does spring travel like Amtrak. That's because now more kids ages 2 to 12 ride for 50% off. Not only will you travel comfortably, you'll save too. Book now at Amtrak.com. Restrictions apply.
Sactown Sports.
Check us out on YouTube. Search Sactown Sports and subscribe.
Thank you again to Frankie Cardicelli and Brendan Nunez for an extra special Kings Roundtable with that extra segment in there. They got to run off to Kings practice. So thank you to them as we discuss Pascal Siakam. Maybe for the last time in this capacity, maybe we should do some
in memoriam
funeral music to the Pascal Siakam talks. I mean, 4 years. 4 years of this.
Let me see if I can find some old Pascal trades.
Oh, yeah.
Like
and the best part is you can do Pascal trade and enter almost every team in the NBA, and there's an article.
What about when he doesn't re-sign with the Pacers like all those reports
gosh, I can't.
What about that?
I can't.
When the Pacers sent 3 first-round picks for a guy.
Well, I would laugh. I would laugh, but at least it wouldn't be with the Raptor. It would be on his own time, right? It would be the next chapter.
The
in
same
book.
stuff would be leaking out, right?
Right.
It's almost the same people besides the Raptors front office.
It is. Yeah, it is interesting to see what happens these next couple days here, because you would think that this is the domino. Now, I don't think it's a Shohei Ohtani domino where nothing's going to move until this happens.
Right.
But I think people were waiting. I think you probably have secondary trades, and now that he's done, you'll see what happens from there. Going to take a quick break and hop into some Niners talk as we've been teasing. And yeah, this one is pretty insane. You have ESPN, and it's still up, by the way, but at this time, they have been quote tweeted just to tell you how bad this is. It's called a ratio, if you've never heard of this before. And looking at this ratio, which is still up because I guess all publicity is good publicity, you have from the Jen, Gabe, and Chewy show, ESPN Milwaukee, you have 149 likes and 394 quote tweets.
Oof.
That is a ratio.
I'm seeing almost 600. I'm seeing like 570.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. 570. Let me see. Let me refresh.
565.
Well, that's comments. That's how many people commented on it as well. And nearly a million.
My gosh.
Nearly a million impressions. So hey, that's probably why they didn't take it down yet, to be honest.
They have more bookmarks than they do likes.
Yes. And Richard Sherman, our resident
I'm sure
Niners player who never played for another team. He had a lot to say.
Yeah.
He had a lot to say.
I don't remember.
I don't remember that either.
No.
And here is a clip from the show where they are alluding to giving Brock Purdy a nice little push to set the tone, to put it nicely.
But, Gabe, I go back, and it's little things like this. And the reason we won in 95 when no one gave us a chance in San Francisco is because we intimidated them. I mean, and I always revert to Wayne Simmons. Wayne Simmons kicked the crap out of Brent Jones. And then it got contagious, and then it carried over. That's why, you guys are going to think I'm crazy.
Well, we already thought that, so go ahead.
A 15-yard penalty, and I don't condone this, but I kind of do in the playoffs.
Okay.
A 15-yard penalty for a late hit on Brock Purdy is not a bad thing, as long as it's worth it. I'm just saying, this is the mindset you go into when it's battle, and it's kind of like the reverse of hockey. What don't they do in hockey in the playoffs, Joshy?
Shave their beards?
That and one other thing.
They don't fight.
They don't fight. They don't fight, right? This is kind of like sometimes a 15-yard penalty is worth it early in the game if you knock the living crap out of the guy, and then he kind of like sticking your helmet in the ribs of Nick Bosa is like,
but
I'm hearing ghosts.
That guy sucks.
That
guy sucks.
I have so many thoughts on this. By the way, that was former Packers tight end who's doing most of the talking, Mark Chmura.
Yeah, who they call Chewy, apparently.
Who they call Chewy. Yeah. And here's my problem with it. And this is in a lot of things in life. You don't have to say everything out loud. I don't know how long their show is, right? Look, we're on a 4-hour show.
Yeah.
We say a lot of stuff.
Than 4 hours.
It can't get longer than 4 hours, quite literally. But to me, we have these conversations all the time where it's, hey, go out there and set the tone.
Yeah.
And if you're still in the locker room, maybe you say, hey, make them feel you. There's so many different ways to say that versus the way he said it. And he's getting completely fried. Like I said, Richard Sherman, every Niners content creator, they're saying, oh, the karma is all off. And I think the worst part is that we know what he's trying to say.
For sure.
But he said it in such a terrible way. Yeah. All you had to say is, you know what, guys? They really got to set the tone here. Yeah. And if you got to make them feel you, you make them feel you early, and you make sure it's a physical game.
Yeah. And if you pick up, and you could still even say what he said, but frame it differently. You can say, hey, like you said, hey, you need to make Brock Purdy feel you early.
Yeah.
Blitz him. Any opportunity you have legally to hit him, make sure you hit him. And you know what? Even if you pick up a 15-yard penalty, I can live with it.
Yeah.
That's how you frame that, buddy.
The problem is we're eating the flag. Yes. We're eating the flag. We don't care about the flag. Knock him out.
He's trying to play longest yard football here.
Yes.
I mean, this is really spot on, too, for Niners fans. Like, this happened in 2011 with Bountygate with the Saints. That was the league.
That was the Vikings.
Oh, no, it was heavy with the Niners. He said, what's his name? The defensive
Greg
coordinator.
Roman. We'll never forget him.
No, Greg.
No, I'm sorry. Not
that's
Greg.
The offensive
As I say,
for
we'll
the
never
Niners.
forget him.
Yeah. I know it was Vilma, but he had that clip where he said, we want Frank Gore's head bent and running sideways or something along.
That's insane.
That happened with the Niners too, Chris, for sure.
Wow.
It wasn't just the Vikings. It was at least those two.
Well, it felt like they were trying to murder Brett Favre.
Yeah.
That's
I think, yeah.
Well, and a lot of people are saying, hey, what's up with what happened to the brotherhood, right? Mark, okay, Mark Chmura, Packers tight end. Aren't you supposed to look out for each other? It's a bad look altogether. I mean, I don't condone this, but I kind of do. This is the quote here. A 15-yard penalty for a late hit on Brock Purdy is not a bad thing as long as it's worth it. He could have said that in so many different ways, and we all would have understood it.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, that's what I mean, to bring it back to Bountygate, like, it wasn't necessarily the fact that he was saying, like, go out there. I want y'all to play with your ears pinned back and just let it fly. It's the fact that he kind of put a number out there and said, for everyone who gets someone hurt, you're going to get money. You can't say,
you can't do that.
Hey, just go, like you said, eat that penalty. I don't care as long as you make him feel some pain. you just can't say that.
No, what is this, Mighty Ducks? Right? Go out there and get Charlie out the game.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous.
Taking Dan Campbell coaching a little bit too
Yeah, no,
seriously
yeah.
there.
Please.
Taking ankles and biting kneecaps
Protect
off
your
or whatever.
kneecaps at all
man.
times. All right, got to get to a break. When we get back, continuing the conversation.
Greg Williams was that defense.
Greg Williams on the Niners and the Kings as well. More of your calls, more of your texts, more of your sack chat. Stiles and Watkins, Sactown Sports.
You never know what you might hear when listening to a Sacramento Kings game.
Out of Keegan, going for another triple. Man, is he feeling it? Keegan, can he do it? Yes, there's number 11, Keegan Murray. Keegan steps back. He just knocked down his 12th three-pointer, a Kings franchise record. He's got 45 points.
Never miss a moment of Sacramento Kings basketball with Sactown Sports and the Sactown Sports app.
Did you know some ordinary cold medicines can raise your blood pressure? That's alarming. Fortunately, there's Vicks DayQuil High Blood Pressure. It's specially formulated without alcohol, sugar, or decongestants to provide fast, powerful cold and flu symptom relief for people with high blood pressure. So if you have high blood pressure, try DayQuil High Blood Pressure, the daytime coughing, aching, fever, sore throat, colds, and flu for people with high blood pressure medicine. Use as directed.
Beachhead Deli on 711 K Street is now your place to go in downtown Sacramento prior to all the games, concerts, and events. Conveniently located just across the street from the arena, Beachhead Deli features the finest gourmet sandwiches and craft beverages anywhere. Beachhead Deli at 711 K Street is also your premier lunch destination 7 days a week. Come by and say hi to new owner Brad Wakai. He's so excited to take care of all your taste bud needs. That's Beachhead Deli at 711 K Street in Sacramento.
At Elk Grove Honda, not only do we have a great selection of pre-owned certified cars at very fair prices, but every one of our pre-owned automobiles are treated with kid gloves with a 182-point inspection that covers everything from unibody to tires to brakes and engine filters. Then our certified cars receive a mobile oil change and fresh fill-up with full synthetic mobile oil. We know you have lots of choices of where to purchase your next car. Come to Elk Grove Honda, home of the 182-point inspection and mobile oil change. We're in the Elk Grove Auto Mall, Highway 99 at Elk Grove Boulevard.
Capital Casino has been serving the greater Sacramento area in the same convenient downtown location for over 20 years, with plenty of close-by, well-lit parking monitored by security staff and offering the most variety of table games in the region in a safe and friendly environment. Best food, best service, and the best action. That's Capital Casino. For more information on tournaments and gaming, check out their website at capital-casino.com. And please remember to gamble responsibly. 1-800-GAMBLER. What's up? We're talking to Chad Hoblet of Hoblet Dodge, Chrysler, Jeep, Ram, and Woodland. It's a new year. So, Chad, the big question, what's happening at Hoblet for Chrysler's Start Something New sales event?
We're starting the year off with even more savings. Right now, you can save up to $15,000 off MSRP on new 2023 Ram 2500 heavy-duty trucks with no payments for 90 days. That means you can get the new personal or company truck you've been needing and not make a payment for 3 months.
But why choose Hoblet versus all the other guys?
Because we not only have the best savings, we have the best selection of the hard-to-find heavy-duty trucks you need. Plus, when you come to Hoblet, you get the big city savings with the small-town family feel. There's a reason why so many of our customers buy from us over and over again.
Aha! See their full inventory at HobletDodge.com. Unbeatable prices, unbeatable selection. Nobody beats Hoblet, period.
15,000 total net savings after 98.34 factory rebates and 51.66 dealer discount. Rebates may include 1,000 Case equipment bonus cash. Must have purchased qualifying new equipment from Case dealer. No payments for 90 days through Chrysler Capital on approved credit. 10th is net savings. See dealer for details.
I like daffodils, tulips, the big dinner plate dahlias. I love being in the garden, but I wasn't going to be able to because I couldn't not only walk, but I couldn't really stand on my foot without being in pain. It was excruciating. So my husband said, let's go to the Good Feet store.
For over 20 years, we've helped people like Terry live the life they love without letting their feet get in the way.
This nice young man said, I think I can help you. He got the arch support and I was fitted. And I kept walking back and forth across the store. And I looked at my husband and burst into tears because it was the first time in a year that I have not had any pain in my foot. I have had no pain since the day I bought them. Now I can do whatever I want. There isn't any place on my property that doesn't have flowers blooming 365 days a year. I still can't believe it. My name is Terry, and that's my Good Feet story.
See what we can do for you with a free personalized arch support fitting at the Good Feet store.
For sore feet, aching back, knee, or hip pain, come to the Good Feet store in Sacramento, Roseville, or Vacaville.
From the Power Business Technology Toshiba Studios, KHTKAM Sacramento, KYMX HD2 Sacramento, the only station in Sacramento giving you local sports coverage from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. Monday through Friday.
Sactown Sports.
A reporter asked Todd Bowles if the Bucks were prepared to play in the frigid Detroit weather when the Lions play in a dome, just like they have been for 50 years.
Yeah.
And that reporter probably wants a vacation.
Sounds like something I would do.
Yeah, but that's also what happens, when you get towards playoff time is, media outlets that haven't been there all season all of a sudden show up and, everybody feels like they're the most important media member in the room and you're like, "Oh, I got this. I'm going to get this great question and it's going to be played on NFL Network all day long." And that's what happens when you don't do your research.
Yep.
Even the most basic.
I don't think they ever played outside either. Because
No,
they used to
for
play in the
50
Pontiac
years,
Silverdome.
So that's what
they've always played in a dome.
That's what Todd Bowles said. Basically, as it's been 50 years. So rough go. That's a want to get away.
Yeah. It happened. There's worse things, but yeah.
I mean, it's all over my feet for the last 2 days.
Yeah, but it'll be gone tomorrow.
Okay.
It's tough 24 hours.
Yeah,
it's a tough,
yeah.
It's a tough 24
It's also,
hours.
his friends are not going to forget that.
Yeah,
one.
and that's funny. It's funny.
No.
It's a little embarrassing.
It shouldn't ruin your life, though.
It depends how into sports he is. Nate, was this you?
Yeah,
was this you? You're really defending
I know
this,
I make mistakes like this, dude. So
Nate's worried because he's going to be at the game on Saturday. That's what
I will be, and I will be asking stupid questions.
Nate's getting worried. So
I'm being forced to do things.
So I'm sorry, Nate, but if the Niners lose on Saturday and obviously an incredibly disappointing
You'll never see
loss,
me again. You'll never see me.
I feel like Nate would ask just something that would just get. I don't know what exactly it would be, but it would be the wrong time, wrong place for that question.
Right. After a pick six to lose the game. So how do you think that pick six affected the game?
Yeah.
Would you call that a momentum swing?
Yeah, I'm really stupid.
Well, okay.
That's a funny bit.
No. See, Nate,
that's a good
you
bit.
can't start a joke.
Nate, you literally said that would have been you.
You can't start a joke.
I'm just saying I feel for the guy because I would do something similar to that. But that's just playing the dumbest guy ever. That's going into the room
Booger
and just
McFarlane
being the
says
dumbest
stuff
idiot.
That's funny all the time.
I'm not Booger. My name's not Booger. My name is Nate.
You know what, Nate? It's okay here. It's okay. Devontae Wyatt, defensive tackle for the Green Bay Packers. Nate's leaving. Devontae Wyatt, Green Bay Packers defensive tackle, had some interesting things to say about Brock Purdy. He said, when D linemen just get pressure into him, he's always throwing off, or it's behind them, or it's overthrown, or short. When you get pressure on him, it's a guarantee we'll get a turnover. That was Devontae Wyatt, and Brock Purdy led the NFL this season in passer rating when pressured. So, and this was posted by Matt Schneidman, who is a Green Bay Packers beat writer for The Athletic. And, the gamesmanship in general, we were talking about sportsmanship last night and gamesmanship. Do you think a lot of it gets blown up now because of social media and because everything that gets said is now posted? And I know I'm not trying to only come at Niner fans, but Packers fans is all fans, right?
Sure.
Well, this person said this person said that. Do you think it's affected, I guess, just how we hear and how we see trash talking or just talking before the game? I mean, the soundbite is a soundbite, right? But now it's all over the place. And does this make a bulletin board that maybe wouldn't have made the bulletin board? I don't know. I just feel like everything gets so overblown now with social media.
No, I mean, I wonder the same thing. I it might. I don't know. I've been trying to figure out if this is a dumb question or not. So maybe here, Nate, I'll be the dummy here.
Yeah.
Here, Nate. Come back in,
Yeah,
Nate.
Nate, you can come back.
Let me phrase that initially in a very interesting way that got me a little angry. I got a dumb question. Let's bring in the dumb guy.
Come on. Let's bring in our dumb expert.
The dumb
expert in all things dumb.
In a way that makes me smart.
Yeah.
It's an expert nonetheless.
That's right.
Anyways, what I was going to say is I can't tell if it's worse now because now walk with me here for a second. Back in the day, like when newspapers and stuff were that's pretty much the primary bulletin board material you're going to get. Maybe, I don't know, maybe on national news or something, someone makes national news, but
right.
Is it bigger because there's not that many outlets out there, and so if an outlet is mentioning you, it sticks out more? Or is it worse now because of the quantity of things you get? But I would also argue with how much there is, I would say it's probably easier to tune out, right? Because it all just kind of becomes noise.
Yeah.
Where maybe in the past it's the only thing being talked about, and so it feels all consuming and maybe a little less to deal with. Like if Michael Jordan struggled for a month or something, there's going to be tons of articles written about it, tons of papers, everyone's saying, what's wrong with Mike? What's wrong with Mike? And it's all three local channels are talking about it. Whereas now it's like almost literally your mom, your dad, me, Nate, you, we're all talking about it. LeBron's probably not even remotely coming across his timeline.
But that's what cracks me up about everything in media now.
First off, is that dumb? My question dumb because I've been sitting on it for a while and I can't tell.
No, I think it could be both. I think it depends on what it is. I think it's hilarious when you have how many NBA writers and NBA media members who just posted. Now, I'll post reactions to the Pascal Siakam trade. If you're just tuning in, Pascal Siakam traded to the Pacers. It's done. It's over for now, meaning, he's got to re-sign in July. But everybody, per Woj, Pascal traded. Per Woj, Pascal traded. Knowing that we all follow Woj. We all follow him.
Right.
So why do you feel like thank you, X, and I'm not coming at smaller media or not even just smaller media because they could be other, the Yahoo sports guy, the athletic sports guy, per Woj, and I get it. You have to do it. But brother, sister, we all follow Woj.
Well, you mentioned it earlier, impressions, right?
Yeah.
You're making impressions with that. You sell your product with impressions. That's a number for your belt. If you can do something that easy, why not do it? It's like asking your stream for likes. Like, hey, like the stream, right? It's so easy to do, and it pads your stats.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's the Russell Westbrook of social media.
It is. Now we're kind of getting off to take it back to what Chris said and to bring it back to Devontae Wyatt and what he said. Yeah, it's tough because I think that there are more outlets. So maybe, to get technical, maybe that soundbite never comes out because there's not as many people in the locker room back then, and less people are getting interviewed. So to me, it feels like there's more. There's more now, and I think it is a bigger deal now than it would be back then because I think that there are less storylines back then. Your argument about Michael Jordan probably is bigger, but it's
Luke
only
Longley
Michael
either.
Jordan.
Right, exactly.
It's only Michael Jordan. That's what I would say. So it would have to be for certain people. So there you go. Thank you, Nate, for that as well. I will say though, about Niner fans, because we go back and forth about how I give Niner fans a hard time, just about not really Niner fans. I don't know if it's more so fans and content creators that just create their own universe of being disrespected, but on clicking on some of, going through some of these Packers media members, and we're going to try to get somebody on before the game as well. Packer fans are kind of talking a lot of trash. So I will apologize because it happened so quick, honestly. So I'm not really apologizing because people were saying this the second the Cowboys lost, right? Now that it's been a couple days and I've actually seen some Packer fans really coming at Brock and saying the Packers really think they're going to take care of business here, and Packer fans feeling really confident. It's a little bit surprising to me.
Don't get it twisted.
How
There's
much
shady a lot of Packer fans.
There are, and it's a little bit surprising to me how much dip they have on their chip for a team in the Cowboys that we all felt like were pretty fraudulent. If the Cowboys had, I could see the Packer fans strutting around like Conor McGregor if the Cowboys beat the Niners.
Sure,
but the Cowboys got destroyed by the
you get
Niners.
that linear
so
win.
what does that have to do with the fact that you beat the Cowboys? The Cowboys were going to lose to the Niners again if they did beat you.
Yeah, no, I don't get it, but it is kind of funny that in a way, Packer fans, and I'm telling you, Packer fans are definitely Cowboy fans with better PR. Like, because there's a lot of them out there, and they're really confident about their team. They always
They're owners.
They own the team. You dang right they do. I mean, I think that Packer fans are we don't really think about it that way, but I mean, these fools won the first couple Super Bowls there is a ton of Packer fans out there, probably as much as there are Niner fans, and it makes sense. They just got a really good win. They're feeling themselves. Go ahead and feel yourself. But I just don't think that this game's even going to be close. So they can talk all they want, but it's honestly there's this it's not news when the wolf howls at the moon. It's news when the moon howls back. And so maybe if the Niners start to take the Packers a little bit more seriously, start talking trash, maybe I'll pay attention. But right now, it just feels like the Niners are looking at this like we're just going to take care of business on Sunday, and we're not even, yes, we have to think about you because you're our next opponent, but we're not really stressed about what's going on.
Also, if you like the 49ers, Return of the Empire 6-7 tonight, 49ers Insider, and me doing a little Niners show.
There you go. Get into a break. When we get back, Anthony Slater writes how Keegan Murray is one of the untouchables. We'll explain it, and we'll break down the piece. Stiles and Watkins, Sactown Sports.
No teams have faced each other more in playoff history than the San Francisco 49ers and the Green Bay Packers. That record-setting 10th meeting is Saturday night as the top seed 49ers look to move to the NFC Championship, while Green Bay is seeking their second consecutive upset.
Join Greg Papa and Tim Ryan for The Call, Saturday at 5:15 on your home for the San Francisco 49ers, Sactown Sports.
San Francisco!
You own a truck because you want to get the job done right. TruckSmart is your work truck headquarters. For over 35 years, they've been outfitting trucks for leading construction firms, service providers, and municipalities in the region. Truck racks, toolboxes, lighting, commercial shells, rhino lining, they've got it all. And their expert installers will get it done right the first time. So visit the truck experts at TruckSmart today with locations in Rockland and Auburn. They'll make your truck your favorite tool. TruckSmart.com.
Thunder, feel the thunder. It ignites something inside of you. Lightning and the thunder. Sets alight an elevated state of being. Days are pure exhilaration. And the nights, they're simply electric. See it, hear it, feel it. Thunder, feel the thunder. Lightning and the thunder. Thunder Valley Casino Resort. Feel the thunder.
Live and local. Live and local. This is Sactown Sports.
The Untouchables, starring De'Aaron Fox, starring Domas Sabonis, and starring Keegan Murray. Keegan Murray on that list, according to Anthony Slater.
Your guy.
My guy, Anthony Slater. We go way back. What did Anthony have to say about Keegan?
Yeah, I thought it was interesting. I mean, for those of you who didn't notice, the Mike Brown video that went super viral in Milwaukee was taken by Anthony Slater.
It was.
And that definitely got my antennas, poking out. And I was like, what is Anthony Slater, not to do my Woj or my Windhorse fingers here, but what is Anthony Slater doing? Who's Anthony Slater, as you know, covers the Warriors, has done great work covering the Warriors for years now. What is he doing in Milwaukee
Right.
as the Kings are in the middle of their road trip right now.
Yeah.
Definitely made me feel like he was working on something. And apparently it was this Keegan Murray piece where he pretty much outlines the Kings view Keegan Murray about as close to untouchable as you can get. Of course, there are a couple exceptions out there, which we'll get to. But for the most part, the story is pretty much about how Keegan Murray is one of the Kings' core untouchables. He goes on to write, Murray's decision makers are convinced that they already employ their current and future top three, De'Aaron Fox, Sabonis, and Keegan Murray, a trio well-balanced in both age and position. Fox, 26, early in his prime point guard. Sabonis, about to turn 28, a mid-prime center. Keegan Murray, who's 23, who's pre-prime wing, who can play multiple spots between the older two. Murray's inclusion in that three-man foundation mixes the newest and most notable development. Talking about Pascal Siakam here, saying that the Kings relayed that message to Pascal and the Raptors, saying any team that the Kings or that call on the Kings in the next few weeks in an attempt to involve Murray in trade conversations will hear the same thing. No, period. There isn't anyone realistically on the market who would entice the Kings general manager, Monty McNair, to move off Murray, making him essentially untouchable. There's desire for sustainability and admiration for here. This is interesting. And we just talked about this in the Kings Roundtable. Anthony Slater writes, there's a desire for sustainability, an admiration for the Denver Nuggets' recent slow build to true contention. In conversations with several members of the Kings organization, it's clear how highly they view Murray as both current component and elevating member of the ultimate plan. They talk with the belief that they found a future star, not a piece to help them attract one. This is the last piece here. He writes, Murray can downsize or upsize between shooting guard and power forward. The Kings' range of trade options is still wide. It's why, to varying degrees, you hear them connected to Siakam, to Zach LaVine, to Jeremy Grant, and Kyle Kuzma. Without concern, it'd be negative. It would negatively impact or overlap Keegan Murray. They just don't want to make moves that involve Keegan Murray really moving out of the core 3.5. Which is kind of, it's a version of what we known, but this is now just on paper, concrete. We're pretty much saying the Kings aren't moving Keegan Murray unless something absolutely spectacular comes along.
Right. And Pascal Siakam was not seen as that Pascal Siakam on his way to Indiana to join Tyrese Halliburton and Miles Turner. So, yeah, Keegan Murray, untouchable for now.
Yeah.
Okay. And I would say for now, we're really all three of them, to be completely honest with you. I think De'Aaron has the longest leash, if you will, and he's really what they want to focus around. But we've had conversations about Sabonis and really how these guys stack up as a duo.
Yeah.
And now you have Keegan Murray, who they want to add to that trio. And look, it's not the same situation as Halliburton, but they don't want to see young talent go. Right. They're really happy. And again, it's the closest thing they have. I don't think Keegan is not athletic, but he's not one of these hyper athletic dudes out here. But he's
not Anthony Edwards.
No, or any of these other wings, but he's the closest thing they have to that.
Yeah.
And he can shoot better than all the aforementioned guys. So that's really his bag. They want a guy who can 3-and-D and be an offensive threat, and really that piece that they're missing. You have De'Aaron who's going to drive, and De'Aaron who's going to shoot these threes. Now you have Sabonis on the inside. Keegan is that third piece. I think to that, and to a lot of people and a lot of fans that might be wanting the Kings to go something now. Yeah, let's just call it how it is. That's not a move for this year. That's a move for the future. Keegan Murray is not going to be an elite 3 option this year. The hope is that he gets there this year. Right. We've called it the caterpillar year, right? This is the caterpillar year for Keegan Murray, and hopefully next season you get a butterfly, maybe even the season after that, but you get closer to it.
Yeah.
So that's another reason to say, hey guys, let's not forget here, you haven't been in the playoffs for a while. They're not going to throw everything out the window to try to make a run where the West is a mess anyway. they're probably happy. They're not going to say this out loud, but they're probably happy being in the dance and seeing what happens. They could get hot. They could get hot, right? That's what they can always say. We're in the playoffs. How are you going to say we don't have a chance, right? But they're not going to do anything to mortgage their future.
Yeah.
Unless, and like we said, I wouldn't do it for Zach LaVine. They didn't do it for Pascal. He's now gone. Whoever, I mean, the other names that are left, there's
Grant
no point.
and Kuzma are the other two that.
I'm not doing it for Kuzma.
Mm-hmm.
I like Kuzma a lot. He's probably the one name.
Keegan for him, absolutely.
He's probably the one name that I'm really interested in left, right? But Keegan is staying put. It was going to be Pascal or bust, or maybe OG, which seems like so long ago. OG Anunoby.
Yeah,
I haven't even said that name on these airwaves, and it's been so nice. I don't want to think.
Well, now we're done. We're done talking about the Raptors.
I don't want to talk about the Raptors.
We're done
anymore.
with Canada. This is no longer a world league. This is now just a strictly American league. We don't need to worry about Canada.
I'm on my health cleanse right now, but maybe during the break, maybe we'll order some poutine.
Sure,
okay, to really just end it all and say thank you, Canada.
Appreciate it.
For everything. Thank you for the talks. Good luck out there. Be smooth.
Yeah.
But we got nothing for you.
666.
Yeah,
that's really all I got. I mean, to me, the thing that I really think it speaks to where the Kings are at right now, and like I said, we've talked about it before, but the fact that Slater puts in there directly the Kings' admiration for the Denver Nuggets' recent slow build to true contender. I mean, it's literally the slow build. That tells me that this team is not, I don't want to say being aggressive, but they're not looking out there, even though they're connected with the Zach LaVines, the Jeremy Grants, the Kyle Kuzmas. To me, those more so the LaVine and the Siakam, that's more of, hey, like if we can get a deal that we like, why shouldn't we at least throw an offer out there? I mean, our name can be in the pot. Doesn't necessarily mean we're the most aggressive one looking for it. I think they'll take a deal if one presents itself. But to me, that says this thing is probably going to be worked around the edges a lot sooner than they're going to try and, throw somebody into that core. So I think, like I said, we've been talking about that recently anyway, but I think that Nuggets mold, and Brendan went through the playoff success or lack thereof that Denver's gone through. That's probably more likely the route that the Kings will go is they're just going to probably not HB, but at least the core four or at very least the core three that Slater's mentioning here of Fox, Sabonis, and Murray. They're going to keep those guys running around for the next couple years until they see an opportunity that presents itself, and they're probably going to hop on it. And I that's what I think. I think we'll know when Monty McNair really likes somebody, because right now we've seen them be, like I said, passive in trade negotiations, but we have not seen them be really aggressive and say, this is the guy that we feel like will take this thing over the top and we'll do whatever it takes to get him. So I think we're just kind of waiting for that moment. It doesn't seem like it's going to be this year. Who knows if it'll be next year? It could be the year after that.
Yeah. If anything, this stretch, I think, has recalibrated a lot of people's thoughts, and we're running out of time. I'm going to keep doing the check, Chris. We're at January 17th. Yep. We are quickly approaching
2 weeks, 3 weeks.
I think it would be barely 3 weeks left.
3 weeks. Yeah.
3 weeks.
In 3 weeks and a day, it'll be the trade deadline.
Will they make a move? All right. Got to get to a break. When we get back, more Kings talk. Stiles Watkins, Sactown Sports.
Check out the Golf to Go Hour with Frank LaRosa every week on Sactown Sports. Get the latest on equipment, area courses, people who play the great game, and plenty of good conversations about golf. It's the Golf to Go Hour every week with Frank LaRosa on Sactown Sports. Golf to Go is brought to you by the Hagen Oaks Golf Super Shop, America's most awarded golf facility. Nature Wood Home Furnishings, where it's all about choices and always about quality.
Don't miss out on limited time appliance deals during the closeout event at Lowe's. Get up to 35% off select major appliances. Plus, save an extra $100 when you spend $999 or more on all major appliances. Hurry, these deals are too good to last long. Shop in-store or online today, because Lowe's knows home improvement. Valid 1/4 through 1/24. Selection varies by location. While supplies last. See Lowe's.com for details.
Progressive presents Precious Moments.
Nothing beats driving cross-country in our RV.
This is so much fun, Dad. I don't even need to look at my phone.
It's not the destination, it's the journey. Jinx!
The exchange you just heard didn't actually happen, but it could. Bundle your home and other vehicles with Progressive and you could use the savings to make sure that RV is always ready to hit the road. Who knows, your teenager might actually put down her phone for 5 minutes. It could happen. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliates, and other insurers. Not available in all states.
Get a great deal on your new Silverado at the Meta Chevy Silverado Superstore. Great selection, great factory financing and incentive, and great Meta Chevy savings on every new Silverado in stock. Online at metachevy.com. Together, let's drive.
Jerry and Kenny here from Bell Brothers. And if you've even thought of replacing your old, outdated, inefficient windows, now is the time to take action.
Right now at Bell Brothers, when you buy one window, you'll get the second one for 30% off. That's right. Buy one, get the second one 30% off.
That's real savings, up to $6,000. You have to buy at least 4 windows to qualify, and you can't mix windows and doors. But beyond that, every second window is 30% off.
For example, when you buy 10 windows, you will get 5 windows at 30% off. We also have 0% interest financing available for qualified buyers. Call for details.
To take advantage of our buy one, get one 30% off sale, call Bell Brothers now at 916-444-1234 or find us online at thenosurpriseguys.com.
The No Surprise Guys, Bell Brothers.
Sacramento's premier music festival, Country in the Park, is back. 2 big ol' nights, May 17th and 18th at Cal Expo with Brantley Gilbert, Dustin Lynch, Walker Hayes, and more. 2-day GA tickets are on sale now starting at $85, or upgrade your experience with VIP or pit passes. Country in the Park, May 17th and 18th at Cal Expo. For more information, visit CITBfest.com. Brought to you by Oak Ridge Winery.
California's largest sportsman's expo is back Thursday through Sunday at Cal Expo in Sacramento. Find the best selection of boats, side-by-sides, campers, and accessories, all at special prices. And get to your next adventure in style. See Toyota's all-new Tacoma. Your life outdoors at the International Sportsman's Expo Thursday through Sunday at Cal Expo in Sacramento. More info at sportsexpos.com.
The Arnold Law Firm has seen how an injury can turn anyone's life upside down. Whether it's a slip and fall, a car accident, or any other kind of injury, for almost 50 years, the Arnold Law Firm has been here to help you through the entire process to protect you and your family. If you are ever injured or in an accident, call the Arnold Law Firm. The Arnold Law Firm, providing real justice for you since 1975. Call 916-777-7777. That's 916-777-7777.
It's no secret to golf enthusiasts that Timber Creek and Sierra Pines in Roseville are one of the region's most unique and scenic places to enjoy a great game of golf. 27 holes, boundless options. Elevate your game on our newly renovated driving range, putting green, and chipping area. Whether you're aiming for fun, lower scores, or all-around growth, we've got you covered. Experience golfing dreams in Roseville and book your tee time at timbercreekgc.com. Timber Creek and Sierra Pines, your ultimate golf haven.
Guys, your testosterone level impacts your energy, drive, weight, hair loss, and even ED. Revive Men's Health Sacramento will check your T level for free. For your free T level check, exam, and consultation, call 916-277-8599 or visit revivemenshealth.com.
Sactown Sports.
Check us out on YouTube. Search Sactown Sports and subscribe.
The collapse of the Kings last night. We're almost about ready to move forward. And they will not be going up against the new look Indiana Pacers. No Pascal Siakam tomorrow night. At least that's the report as of right now. It should be a very confusing game for the Pacers with everything going on with them. But they're on the good end of it, right? I think it would be, well, really both sides, okay? I think the Raptors are used to playing like this. They've been playing like this for the last 4 years. Right. So I think they'll be fine. But yeah, the Pacers in the midst of a road trip where they lost to the Jazz on Monday. So they have not played since Monday, oddly enough. And they are still on the road. They have the Kings tomorrow night. Then after that, they have a back-to-back with the Kings and the Blazers. Ooh. Maybe Pascal plays in that Blazers game. Then after that, on Sunday, they head to Arizona to take on the Suns. And then next week, and now I'm just looking at their schedule here. Next week, they get the Nuggets at home. And after that, they go Tuesday Nuggets, Thursday Sixers. Ooh. So, and then they play the Suns again. So they have quite a run. They get a little break with the Grizzlies. Then after that, they get the Celtics and the Knicks. So then the Kings again. So, yeah, Pacers are on a bit of a stretch. Maybe this is why they decided to maybe make a move and hopefully make a run here. You know, the one thing I wanted to bring up with the Kings Roundtable, but we've talked about it before, is you have to feel like Pascal is going to sign because, as we've mentioned, these deals never end in a championship the same year.
Right.
They never do.
Yeah.
They never do. So this idea of, they want to sign a pitcher in baseball, maybe that, or a close somebody that's different. Basketball and an important piece. I know we'll see now with OG and the Knicks. I know the Knicks have kind of been rolling since they got OG, but a lot of times that big trade in season. Now the Knicks tried to do it earlier, but that big trade in season
takes some time. Assuming
they wait. I mean, we're a couple weeks away from the trade deadline. Are those 3 weeks going to really make a difference? I don't know, right? I don't know. But the idea that the Pacers are, okay, we signed, now we're going to be a 2 seed or a 3 seed. I think you have to feel like you're going to sign this guy because that's really why you're making the trade. It ain't for this season.
No, but I'm telling you, there is potential here for I think this is probably the first time it's ever been uttered in the world's history, but there's chances for the Pacers to be this year's Lakers, where they kind of sneak into the playoffs, but they're not the team. They're not the seeding isn't a true indication of how talented that team is and what they're capable of. Because, like I said, I still see Miles Turner and Buddy Hield on that team, and at the very least, I know Buddy Hield. There's no way Buddy Hield is going to make it past the trade deadline.
So you're saying they're not done.
There's another move that they can make, and I think that you can get a really good piece. I mean, Buddy's been someone who's been rumored to LA. Can you get even if it's D'Angelo Russell or Rui Hachimura, anybody? I think you can still add some pieces to that team. And again, I think that even if it does, like you said, you give yourself this 3 weeks before the deadline to hopefully kind of give yourself some time to, that's the time where you can struggle, and then hopefully you can hit the ground running by the deadline. I think that there's potential for the Pacers to do something this year, but I mean, I ultimately agree with you. Like, they're not winning a championship this year.
Where are the teams, and I guess the sports where a team goes matters, right? Is it football the biggest one
where a player goes?
Yeah. Oh, well, they're not going to send him in division because these are two Eastern Conference teams, and it seems like nobody really cares. Obviously, the Raptors are in a different place than the Pacers, right? It would be hard to see the Lakers doing business with the Kings. Maybe it matters more. Hey, the conference doesn't matter if the two teams are in completely different positions.
Right. Absolutely.
Right.
Yeah, because you don't want to cross timelines. That's the worst thing you could do, is have the move you made directly impact your season's success.
Exactly.
And so, to your point, I mean, I think probably because you're just saying in terms of like the teams thinking specifically about who we can and can't
I like
make
Rui
deals
Hachimura.
with. Right.
Would the Lakers would the Lakers and Kings not do business because they're too close in timelines and they're both in the Western Conference?
You just got to make sure that you really like the deal.
Yeah.
That's probably what it is that you just, you can't ultimately make a deal that if it ends up let's say the Kings say, hey, Lakers, let's switch. I don't know if the contracts work, but Rui Hachimura for Harrison Barnes. And you see Harrison Barnes, for whatever reason, takes the Lakers to this next level, and Rui, is pretty much doing exactly what Harrison Barnes does anyway. So, if you're the Kings, it's like, well, we just made our opponent significantly better, and we really, it didn't do anything for us. So, it feels like in the NBA, you kind of have to be aware of also the situation you're sending him to. And a lot of times, to your point, you do see them saying, we cannot trade. I think Damian Lillard was somebody who the Blazers were like, we're not going to trade him in the Western
Which
Conference.
is pretty funny because those timelines, Blazers,
Don't
you're not
match
on
at all.
anybody's.
Exactly.
Come on.
Didn't make any sense.
No.
But yeah, I mean, you see teams just in general care more about it because, also if let's say the Kings made the Tyrese Halliburton swap with the team, let's say the Suns, I mean, then you're going to have to see Tyrese Halliburton 4 times a year where, if you trade Damian Lillard to the Milwaukee Bucks, you're only going to see him once at your house and then once at the other place. And, as we've seen with Tyrese Halliburton here in Sacramento, you might even miss a couple years of even having that moment of he's back in the building and all the emotions are brought back up. So, yeah, it feels like the NBA, you got to kind of be cognizant of where you're shipping guys off.
Yeah. I'm trying to think of any other situations. The Warriors last season, that trade was, but they traded with the Pistons at the deadline and they moved Wiseman. Okay. And then which somehow the 3-way, it got them GP2. Well, actually, that's an interesting one. The Blazers did did trade the Warriors and give them back GP2.
Yeah.
Right. So, and then they go on and they send Jordan Poole off to Washington.
Right.
So, yeah, I think there's a lot of just across country, but I don't think it's as important as I would even say in football in general, right? Let's say the Bills lose. Let's say the Bills lose on this weekend to the Chiefs, right? And we know, Diggs starts talking again, and they're just sick of it, right? The Bills are just sick of it. Well, we know who needs a receiver, a number 1 wide receiver is the Chiefs. There is no way that the Bills, the price tag would be out of this world for the Bills to even entertain it.
I don't even know what it would take because, at that point, you're trading off a guy who's going to your direct, immediate competition.
Right.
Like, again, like
you're not different division, though.
Yeah, but then you're potentially, the Chiefs and Bills have met how many times now in the play? Like, is this their 3rd time already meeting? And so it's like, and in a way, the Chiefs just had to deal with it with Tyreek Hill. I think it's a really risky move, but you got to kind of calculate it. And even at that time, the Dolphins were not the Dolphins they were now. So I just don't think you can. It's up to the GMs, but for the most part, I think you're not going to want to make teams that you're directly competing with better.
Right. And the same thing could be said about the Raiders, right? If it was Devontae or whatever it is. Now, I don't think the Raiders are on the same timeline. I don't think they're that far off. They did have a decent season, but yeah, they're probably right on the fringe of, we're not tanking. Okay. So we're not going to, Devontae can't go to the Chiefs ultimately.
Right.
And there's also a part of it that's just the rivalry, right? Even if they weren't on let's say the Raiders were just in the dumpster, I think they would just feel like no.
Absolutely.
There's no way. So there's a rivalry part of it. And I feel like rivalries are stronger in the NFL. There are a lot of NFL rivalries, whether it's in division or outside division. Like you said, Bills, Chiefs, I don't know if it's a rivalry, but they're very familiar with each other. So I think that's kind of the give and take with it. But yeah, Pascal Siakam staying in the Eastern Conference, going to Indiana, and just looking at the options for the Kings and kind of what's left. There are luckily a lot of Eastern Conference teams anyway that are the ones that are tanking. I just saw another report about the Bulls really wanting to offload their guys. So maybe Caruso comes back in the picture. If you don't think that the Kings need and I saw another report about the Kings wanting a defensive-minded guy. If you don't think the Kings have an issue at the big position, which we really didn't talk too much about the small ball situation with the Kings because they never should have been in that situation, but Suns went small ball and Coach Mike Brown, I think, just wasn't sure what to do.
Yeah.
Right.
Very clear. Very clearly.
Yeah. Okay, Sabonis, get off. And then actually this is not going to work. That is clearly something they did not see coming. So yeah, we can break that down a little bit with Kevin Michael Whitey Gleason here at the break. But yeah, if you look at the other teams and what is available, I'm looking at, if you don't think they need another big, I'm looking at if you got a Matisse Thybulle and Caruso and you call it a day.
Ooh, I'm gonna be real happy.
The problem is you would be losing shooting.
Right.
But
I'm okay with that.
But you're only losing shooting
in better defenders.
Yeah, you're only losing. Okay,
you don't need to score as much if you're allowing the other team to score less.
Same old Herter. Let's say Herter, Davion, and HB. Yep. All three of those are gone, and you're getting back Matisse and you're getting back Caruso.
Love it.
That's a hard-nosed team now. Now you're grabbing your lunch pail.
That's a lot of guys to get rid of for just that return, but I think ultimately those are the two guys that would make me personally most happy.
It's the market right now.
Yeah.
It's just this is just what the market is right now. All right. Get into a break. When we get back, crosstalk with the Drive Guys. Stiles and Watkins, Sactown Sports.
On the move? Got somewhere to be?
Take Sacramento Kings basketball with you. The Sactown Sports app will let you stay connected to your passion. Never miss a moment of Sacramento Kings basketball with the Sactown Sports app.
Hey, it's Carmichael Dave asking you, are you feeling the pain of paying more and more for your gas? PG&E has increased their rates 4 times in the last 5 years, and the new forecast says PG&E customers may see their bills increase 32% by 2026. The good thing is there are steps you can take to protect yourself from these rate hikes, and better yet, American Energy may be able to help you completely eliminate your gas bill with a new ultra-high efficiency comfort system. Did you know SMUD offers huge rebates to eliminate your old gas guzzler? They can help you guide through the whole process. Seriously, listen to me. You go to the SMUD website. There's tons of rebates available, but it is confusing on how to do it. Listen to these rebates. $2,500 from American Energy, $3,500 from SMUD, $1,000 from Caltech, $2,000 home system upgrades. That's $9,000 in rebates. Let American Energy help you out at 916-520-9990.
Call 916-520-9990 now.
Start your 2024 grilling season right with a new lifetime warranty Napoleon Prestige line of outdoor cookers. The Napoleon P500 series gas grill will turn you into a grilling pro. Napoleon Prestige grills, versatile grilling for every occasion. Form, function, and luxury can come in the same package. Just go to your local Green Acres Nursery and Supply for the best selection today, or visit Napoleon.com for a dealer near you.
Patrick was way behind on his IRS taxes.
I was in way over my head. The total amount ended up being somewhere just over $30,000. $30,000.
Then the IRS came to collect.
Started getting letter after letter. A lien had been filed against me. They were going to basically hang me completely out to dry.
He had to do something.
That's when I reached out to Optima Tax Relief.
Patrick's life quickly got a lot easier.
It was very easy, pretty much hands off. They picked up the ball and ran with it.
And how'd it go?
I couldn't believe it. I had to ask 2 or 3 times. I saved an incredible amount of money.
How does Patrick feel about Optima?
Couldn't be happier. They definitely helped me. Optima Tax Relief, the best place to call. They're the best in the business.
Do what Patrick did and call Optima Tax Relief for a free consultation. Call 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460.
Optima Tax Relief.
Testimonial from an actual client. Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
Beachhead Deli on 711 K Street is now your place to go in downtown Sacramento prior to all the games, concerts, and events. Conveniently located just across the street from the arena, Beachhead Deli features the finest gourmet sandwiches and craft beverages anywhere. Beachhead Deli at 711 K Street is also your premier lunch destination 7 days a week. Come by and say hi to new owner Brad Wakai. He's so excited to take care of all your taste bud needs. That's Beachhead Deli at 711 K Street in Sacramento.
Big savings are back at Folsom Lake Honda, your one-stop Honda shop.
Looking to own or lease? We have options for everyone. Plus, lower interest rates at Folsom Lake Honda make for lower payments. It's no wonder Folsom Lake Honda is your one-stop Honda shop.
Get an instant cash offer for your trade at FolsomLakeHonda.com. We'll buy your car whether you buy from us or not.
Visit us today at FolsomLakeHonda.com.
Folsom Lake Honda, yeah, your one-stop Honda shop.
Are you tired of your tee shots ending up in the adjoining fairway while the rest of your foursome is hitting it down the middle? Well, experts will tell you that being properly fitted for golf clubs will help you strike your drive center cut. The Hagen Oaks Player Performance Studio and its team of trained PGA professionals are ready to help you get rid of your banana balls and duck hooks. Hagen Oaks Indoor-Outdoor Player Performance Studio fittings are available 7 days a week. Make yours today by calling 916-808-2531. That's 808-2531.
Have you ever envisioned having $500,000 in advertising to conquer the remodel market, but felt overwhelmed at the thought of going it alone? Now you don't have to. Join Subcontractors United and share your advertising with 2 other contractors in your trade. Get $500,000 in advertising for only $1,042 a month. We are so sure this will work that we're giving away free advertising until June 2024 to qualified contractors. Visit subcontractorsunited.com today.
Kevin Lewis of National Garage Door. Whether you need to repair a broken spring, install a new opener, or buy a quality Rainer door, National Garage Door is here for you. Call us today to see how we can transform your house with a new garage door.
638-4554 National Garage.
The drive, guys. Well, you sound like you're really looking forward to it. 15 more minutes with you. 15.
It's a marathon. You know that.
Everybody's kind of in that mood today, right?
Yeah.
Kings fans like, ugh.
I was yawning in their ears.
He
earlier.
did.
Yeah,
He
he
did.
did.
I gave him a little countdown, a little behind the scenes here.
1 minute.
And I went, yeah.
Whitey, are you happy to put to rest the Pascal Siakam conversations? Because Chris and I sure are.
Yeah, I heard you guys. I was waiting for your, memorial and the service and everything. That would have been very nice. It never really bothered me that much, except just what bothered me was, and I think you tweeted about this. Somebody said something about Siakam, and you said we knew that 2 weeks ago, right?
Yeah,
and that's what bothered me. It's just the same stuff, and people coming up with Siakam says he will not commit to a franchise, or the Kings are offering Herter and Barnes.
Right?
Really?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
breaking news.
Yep.
So that bothers me, the same stuff over and over. But otherwise, Siakam, I'm looking forward to seeing him play, and he won't be here tomorrow, right? So
He will not.
Well,
score.
Whitey, we've seen that movie before. We know that.
I know.
Siakam not playing, Tyrese not playing.
This one's in the bag.
We know this doesn't matter.
Nemhard masterclass incoming.
Oh, Ben Mathurin.
Yep.
Get ready for it.
Mhm.
Come on. TJ McConnell
McConnell's gonna
triple-double.
eat.
Are you kidding me?
TJ McConnell is going to eat. And yeah, we spent a lot of this show deciding if we should recalibrate our expectations and from a fan perspective, what you should expect from the Kings for the rest of the season, because I don't know if a big move is going to get made. They're running out of time here, and the names are the names, right? There's no new name is going to show up. So if it wasn't enticing to you 2 weeks ago or 3 weeks ago, why would it be enticing to you now? We know that Monty McNair is going to stand strong in his beliefs. So looking at this team for literally who is on the current roster, you just got to hope that they continue playing how they're playing, but just are able to close out games, because that's just been the issue, closing out games in 2 different ways the last 2 nights. I think Kevin Herter is playing with good intention and with good pace and with good energy. I think that they're close to figuring out something. And at this point, you get in the dance and you see what happens.
Here's an interesting factoid with the season halfway through here. Doesn't really have anything to do with the last 2 games, but it's interesting. I think when you look at where the Kings are, where they were, where they hope to be. As we know, last year, their offensive rating was the highest ever, right? They set a record, 19.6. So not only number 1, but like the best ever. Right now, you know how many teams have a higher offensive rating?
I believe it's 7.
Yeah.
Wow.
7 teams this year have a higher offensive rating right now than the Kings had for last year, which was the highest ever. So
it's like the Drew Brees records, right?
Kind of.
Yeah. Every year, someone's going to break them.
Well, yeah. I mean, that's the way the league is trending. So what do you do then? Then the Kings are they're 14th right now.
That puts a lot of things into perspective when people, they were a 3rd seed there. It's a year, man, and everybody's always getting better. That's just the bottom line. right? And you had a combination. It was a lesser version of, you can make the argument, a lesser version of the Warriors. Obviously, you didn't get a championship, but in 2022, you had career year from Andrew Wiggins, and you had what looks to be so far a career year from Jordan Poole, right? It was lightning in a bottle, and they rode it all the way to a championship. And
He likes to bring it back to the Warriors, doesn't he?
well, it's just, I'm just saying it's two guys. It's two guys. Andrew Wiggins has not been anything like that since. Okay. And Kevin Huerter, he had a great season last season. He has not been close to that this season. And Keegan Murray, rookie season, Keegan Murray's getting closer to that now, but it's a bunch of things. Fine. I won't take it to the Warriors. I can take it to the Giants. Just like Frankie brought up, that year they won 107 games.
They won 107 games.
But they had, but it's how they did it. They had the most, I think, pinch hit home runs in the history of the league.
Right.
That's not scalable. You can't hang your hat on that.
Well,
right?
My fear is, and I was thinking of this coming in today, listening to you guys. My fear is that they put this team together before last season. And I know it's a little different, but this team came together so quickly. They're already bumping up against their ceiling. Like, okay, we're as good as we can be. Now what? Like, oh, well, we didn't think you'd be this good this soon, but now, okay, so now what do you do next? What's the move next? That's where I think they are right now. It's like, what are we going to do?
Well, they have to accept that last season, maybe their seeding was ahead of schedule. I think the jump that they made was legit, but I think that you can't operate in the space of, we were a 3 seed. We have to do it. Forget it.
But you,
right?
Forget better. No matter what your seeding is,
you have to get better.
Numbers are. How does this team get better? That's what I think.
That's what I'm saying. They're just gonna have to play better.
All year long has been saying we have to be better defensively.
Yep.
That's where our potential growth is. And it's a struggle.
Well,
they're bad.
They're really bad defense, especially watching Phoenix yesterday. I don't know about you guys, but I was watching that, especially that first half of Phoenix, and I was like, I think I actually tweeted it out. I thought the Kings had really bad defensive effort issues. I mean, there was just in the first quarter, there was 2 to 3 possessions in which the Kings just had easy 4-on-5s. Like, Phoenix is a terrible defense, and I think you might have pointed it out yesterday. Their defensive rating is 1 behind the Kings. I think the Kings are 16th.
I think the Suns are 16. The Kings are 17. Maybe it's vice versa, but they're right next to each other.
The fact that it was insane to see, and I think it's I think that this team, Whitey, I'm actually curious what you think. Do you think when you talk about them knocking on the ceiling or hitting their heads on the ceiling a bit, defensively, do you feel that's the case as well? Or do you feel like there is still some room to grow defensively? Because to me, if it is going to be this current group of guys, I don't think on the offensive end they can get much better than what we've seen, whether it be, this stretch of games or last year. The key is, and what we haven't seen is this team capable of being, with the personnel they have, better than 15th?
Yeah, if I understand you right, to me it's semantics. Offensively, they were really good, and so they reached their potential. Defensively, there's still a lot of room for improvement, but I don't know if they realistically have that much potential to be better.
Right.
I think so. I mean, to me, it feels like they kind of are. I think the reasons why they struggle defensively, a lot of those reasons are because of the personnel. Like, I don't think they have the correct personnel to really be an elite defense. I think if they wanted to, they could maximize the defense and maximize the defensive effort, but I think you might also kind of lose who you are as a foundation of your, like the Kings are an offensive juggernaut. That's the team when they're at their best, they're going to be scoring 130 points on a given night and hopefully ideally playing just good enough defense to win. I don't think that you can turn this, you can't change their spots. Like, I don't think you can turn this team into a defensive minded team. I think you can make them better defensively, but I don't know if with how they're currently constructed, you can win games on defense.
Wiggs to the rescue, right?
Well,
somebody.
I mean, I guess. But if you're 17th, right, and you've already been better than last season, how much better, just like Jameis said, well, it was already 41-17, so I don't know how much worse it's going to get. I don't know how much better they're going to get. I mean, they're up, 6-7 spots from a year ago? They're 17th. Is this a roster that could be a top 10 defense? essentially what you're saying.
Yeah.
And I think I feel like they get to about 14, 15, between where they are, maybe a little bit better. I'll give them 2 more spots with this personnel. And that's basically it. We use the same comparisons all the time. A guy that is if you are born and the first time you run after the growth spurt and all that stuff, first time you run a 40, you run a 5 flat. What's the fastest you could get to, right? With all the training and everything in the world, I feel like the fastest you could get to if you really try from a 5 flat is probably about a 4.7. And I think it's the same thing looking at this team defensively. If they, when they were just born, right, were probably about 20, 19, they played bad last season. They're up now to 17. I give them about 2 more spots, and that's pretty much it. Got to get out of here. Thank you to the Sactown Sports Kings insiders. Thank you to Nate Littlefield as well, Chris Watkins, Alan Stiles. Thank you for listening to Stiles and Watkins. You have the Drive Guys with Whitey Gleason and Kyle Draper up next. Until tomorrow, secure the bag, light the beam.
The Kings return home Thursday.